Enough rain stick for today.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Sunday, February 9th, 2014. Time for your Gitmo Nation Media Assassination Episode 590.
This is No Agenda.
Increasing activation in brain regions form the mesolimbic dopamine system. Here in FEMA Region 6, the Travis Heights Hideout in Arlington, Texas. Good morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where it's raining, and where it rains, it pours, I'm John C. Dvorak.
Okay.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill.
I don't know what. This is not good.
What the hell happened?
I don't know. It's not good. Something's going on. Let me see what's happening. Why is the computer frozen now all of a sudden? Hold on. Let me just check that again. Oh, yeah.
Crackpot and Buzzkill. In the morning.
Hey, John. How you doing?
Hey, great. Hey.
Hey, everybody. It's the Morning Zoo. Hi, everybody. How you doing? Yee-hoo. Is it really raining? I heard you got something like 10 inches last night. Is that true?
It's about time.
Wow. And you know that we're completely responsible for this.
It seems so, or at least it's an amazing cosmic coincidence that once we got the rain sticks going, it began raining finally.
Yeah.
Even though they had predicted it wouldn't rain until April.
Let me just review. It had not rained for months. Was it 4 months, 5 months it hadn't rained in California?
Yeah.
And we pull out our rain sticks as professionally licensed rain stick operators. Immediately, it starts raining. We did it again on the previous show. You got 10 inches. But Ireland is pissed off.
Well, they don't even listen to the show nor contribute.
Yes, they do. Well, some Irish listeners are.
I don't know that we have. Do we have? We have. Oh, this is interesting.
I'm getting.
I don't remember. I think yes.
Yes, we do. We do. Yeah, we got Tommy Boy, a couple other people there.
Right.
And they're really angry. They're tweeting me. Stop with the rain stick.
Yeah, I've seen these tweets.
Yeah. Well,
it's not. It's. I guess they're getting flooded.
I have to say, John, I have lost the Olympic fever.
Did you watch the opening ceremonies?
Yeah. First of all, I watched the pre-games before the ceremony, after the show on Thursday. No, hold on. I had the fever. I had Olympic fever. I was watching the figure skating. You know how much I love the figure skating, and the Russians were just kicking ass, and it was just beautiful, and the Americans sucked. Dude fell down. Ugh. For team skating.
I missed that because I don't like judged sports because I don't think that's really sports. It's
well, there is a lot of technicality. My mom was a figure skater.
There's a lot of technicality in it, but it's still judged sport. So it's subject to corruption and fads.
Hello, that's part of the beauty of it.
I remember there was some skater once that did some wild stuff, but they didn't think it was appropriate, so they nicked her.
It's based on outfits in ice skating.
Exactly.
That's what I like so much about it.
And makeup.
Yeah, that's what I like so much about it.
They wear more makeup.
I do want to mark it off in the Red Book, even though it didn't exactly appear. It wasn't the mutt or the mongrel that we had predicted. I saw it in the newspapers. I saw it in USA Today. Stray dog interrupts opening ceremony. I think it's a Red Book come true once again.
And this wasn't even... we put it in the Red Book, but we knew it was going to happen. These things, they're just obvious. Some of these things are just obvious.
Yeah. And now we have, there's all kinds of fun stuff, and we will get into a lot of Russia stuff today, no doubt, because that involves our friend Victoria Nuland. So one of the rings didn't open up, and immediately some great hoax on the web. I was hoping someone would pick it up. Did you see this? Apparently, the engineer whose job it was to have all the rings unfold, he was stabbed to death in his hotel room.
Oh, how about that? Well, I thought it's not true. I thought it was obviously on purpose because I don't have a clip, but I could get it. It was on Van Cat.
Yeah, that's supposed to be the American ring. Is that the?
Yeah, it was the American ring that didn't open.
Oh, please.
I like it.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, man responsible.
And then they said deny that, but now we're represented by flakes.
Well, par for the course.
This is not an accident.
The man responsible for operating the Olympic rings during last night's Winter Olympic opening ceremonies in Russia was found dead. Yeah, according to local reports, the body of T. Boris Avdiev, right, T. Boris Avdiev, was found in his hotel room this morning with multiple stab wounds. Sure. I wish that had gotten some play. There's so many things. Of course, along with the whole Russia hates gays thing, it didn't take long for people to find out that NBC edits these broadcasts. And the president of the International Olympic Committee had a whole speech, and he talked about diversity, and they cut a piece out. And immediately, they're deceptive. Hello. It's an edited show, people. This is what they do. They need to fit in more advertisements.
Yeah, I think there was some break that Matt Lauer goes, and now they're showing the Russian history, and here's where they break from the future, from the past to the future, as we break for a commercial, or some crazy line like that.
Exactly. No, I think what I saw, everything looked good and it's nice, and just another.
It was quite. I thought many of these bits they did, especially after they had that horrible walkout of all these athletes, and they went to the second part of the show. I thought the show was very entertaining.
Yeah, I thought it was good too. I kind of liked the whole opening montage and the little girl flying and
the little girl flying around like a maniac.
She's doing good. She's a good flyer.
And there's a bunch of cool stuff.
What people don't realize is how incredibly commercial these Olympic Games are. And people kind of gloss over it. And
they do?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Are you kidding? I think people really believe in this whole, it's our Olympic dream and you're representing your country. No, you're not. You're representing Visa and McDonald's. In fact, I stumbled across, and I don't watch it often, but I saw Amy Goodman's show. And she had some woman on who she was clearly a Russian expert. And she brought on Samantha Retrosy. Samantha Retrosy, let me see, I have it here. She competed, I think, in 2006 in the luge competition. And she wrote an article about how the Olympic Games are very similar to the Hunger Games. And how, in fact, he says it's so eerily similar where, we're all put into groups and it's really, dog eat dog. And then she went into the whole commercial thing. And I thought it was great that this was on television because you rarely hear anyone really telling the truth. Now, she is no longer an Olympian. And I was quite surprised they even went this far on the Amy Goodman, what is the name of her show? Democracy Now!
The War and Peace Report.
Yeah, the War and Peace Report about the commercial, really how these poor boys and girls, how they're really trained by the International Olympic Committee to do one thing, and that's basically to shill for the advertisers.
Well, as a U.S. national team athlete, I signed a contract every year with the U.S. Luge Association, and that contract stipulated what I could and couldn't say, how I should use my media time. Essentially, I was being trained to be a spokesperson for Verizon.
What would you say about Verizon?
I loved it. What would you say about Verizon?
They give great phone service.
This is how dumb Amy Goodman is. She doesn't even understand the significance of this.
No, I would say thanks, Verizon, for making all my Olympic dreams come true. Yeah! The realization of my American Olympic dream.
This is it. This is exactly what it is, and I think people really don't see that, John.
Amy Goodman's right over her head.
She doesn't even get it.
You know what she's thinking the following. Golly, I wish we had advertisers.
Yeah, I could talk about their call quality all day long. That would be awesome, man. Crap luge bitch.
Is enabled by Verizon. So that's kind of the line. Kind of defines how an athlete talks about their relationship to Verizon. Of course, it's not always that specific line. But during the Olympics, of course, you take on another range of sponsors, the sponsors of the U.S. team in general, USOC sponsors.
And Olympic Committee sponsors.
Yeah, the U.S. Olympic Committee sponsors.
It's just, I feel like Amy still doesn't understand the significance of it. It is a complete commercial event. And
and everybody's working for free.
Well, this girl has to get a part. Listen, she's going to say she has to get a job.
And so then you become a spokesperson for those sponsors as well. Mm-hmm. So, the sponsorship relationship and like the sponsors themselves are contingent upon the actual event, World Cup settings. Verizon was the main sponsor. The Olympics, you had the full range of U.S. team corporate sponsorship.
And yet, despite the fact that corporate sponsorship plays such a big role, you also point out that individual athletes, in fact, often have to take on other jobs just in order to support themselves because they see very little of that sponsorship money.
Yeah, like zero.
Very little.
Yeah.
They get a free jacket.
Yeah, they get it. Yeah, well, I think they pay for their travel. But that's about it. And I'm always amazed that people don't see through this, like this big cultural event. No, it's not. It's not. It's just not.
You're surprised. You're amazed. Yeah.
No, but if you walk down the...
you are.
Well, no, I'm not really. You're right. You're right. But I really lost the Olympic fever with all of this. Every single channel is just filled with tear this, tear that. Oh, it's going to be... Jane Harmon was on CNN. Jane Harmon, who looks like... She kind of looks like she should be on like a 70s sitcom.
Either
like
that
a mom.
or she could... Yeah,
you know
she does.
mean?
She looks like the Partridge Family.
Partridge Family, yes, that's it, the Partridge Family. Exactly, you nailed it. And she's a former representative, and she is on drugs. This is new, though, because I've heard her make sense. But when she, for some reason now she's working for the Woodrow Wilson building or foundation, or I'm not quite sure what that is.
Think tank of some sort.
Yeah, but she's also a contributor to CNN, and she's off her rocker.
Jane Harmon, you've seen all the reports of all the fears out there, the threats. Are they exaggerating? Are these overblown?
Joe, what do you think, John? Are these exaggerating? Are these overblown?
No, not by any means, bro.
U.S. intelligence officials have told me they are deeply concerned, and these are people who are not necessarily alarmists.
Well, I think
they're not necessarily alarmist. Let me see. Mike Rogers, not necessarily alarmist. What's that other douchebag's name?
Yeah, Peter King.
Peter King.
Well, I think we're prepared. These suicide bombers or whomever.
Or whoever. You got to listen to her. She's great. These suicide bombers or whoever, the garbage man, whoever.
Only have to be right once. We have to be right 100% of the time. 100% is not achievable.
Not achievable. We cannot do it.
We have pre-positioned Department of Homeland Security, FBI, and military folks, in Sochi.
What a waste of money.
We have naval warships in the Black Sea, which abuts Sochi. And
It abuts Sochi.
We have others in the neighborhood, in the Mediterranean, and these are the right things to do.
Yes, it's the right thing to do. It's the
just
right
move
thing
all
to
these
do.
multi-million-dollar ships that cost a fortune to drive 1 mile. Let's just move them into position. For what?
Yeah,
what are they going to do? Pound the Sochi with cannon fodder?
Yes, exactly. Fire.
With cannons?
Fire.
Cannon shot?
Yeah. Meanwhile, the Iranian fleet is sailing right into our waters. They're like, hey, idiots up there in abutting Sochi. Woo-hoo.
It's a hard message to hear. Part of the message has to be what Janet Napolitano just said. Pride in our athletes.
Yes.
And the fact that the U.S. is, I think, likely to win a lot of golds. That's a great statement for our country.
She's high. I'm telling you, she's high.
But it is a very dangerous world. Why Vladimir Putin would pick a place that, first of all, is warm.
Now, Brolf is about to do something amazing. He's about to actually say, you're full of shit in CNN speak. Because she's going, why Vladimir Putin picked a place that is warm?
Why Vladimir Putin would pick a place that, first of all, is warm and with palm trees, but that second abuts the wild west of Russia, the North Caucasus.
Abuts the wild west of Russia. Now, luckily, Brolf just can't take it himself. I guess he didn't toke.
It baffles me.
Well, it wasn't just Vladimir Putin. It was the International Olympic Committee. They approved it. They were the ones who selected Sochi.
It feels like a vanity project for Putin. And if $50 billion...
She's not having any of it.
No, it's a vanity. Shut up, bro.
...dollars has really been spent. There's presumably a lot of corruption. And there could be penetration by people in addition to...
roof.
Who cares?
These black widows somewhere.
Black
and
widows.
A person prepared
Terrorists.
to take her or his life has a much easier time attacking than somebody who wants to survive.
Thank you for this fantastic insight. Let me review. A person who is willing to take his or her life is much more dangerous than someone who wants to survive. Let me scribble that down. Moron. This woman is
always a dingbat.
This is really bad, though. This is real. This has gotten crazy.
Well, just keep her off the air. That's what she needs.
No, she's got more. I got more clips from her.
Oh.
Not about this, about something else. She comes back all the time. It's like she's on CNN now. She should do a cooking show. Speaking of which.
And?
Well.
What?
Well, you know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait a minute.
It's another installment of...
Dinner with the We're still talking about Sochi a little bit.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I was kind of relishing the moment. Okay, we're going to go back to Sochi.
That's okay. We can do
We're going to
Sochi.
take a break right now, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to ask Adam the big question that I hinted about it in the newsletter. You've got your newsletters?
Yeah.
With the picture of the dog with the 4 eyes.
Very nice.
And I'm going to ask him now. So here we go. We're going to start the show off with a bang. Hey, Adam.
Yeah, John.
Hey, I heard that you had another OBOT dinner.
That's right, John. I sure
Another
did.
installment of
Dinner with the OBOT.
Yeah, we are right on cue today. Well, I must say it's been a while since we had a dinner with the OBOTs here in Austin, Texas. A reminder, these are my friends.
Yes, and can I ask a question before you begin?
Please.
Did this include the guy who would not ever sit down and even have a coffee with a Republican guy?
No, because he is not one of the OBOTs. I will, however, see him tonight.
Oh, another dinner?
Yes.
Woo!
Yeah, it's another dinner.
Wow, back to back.
Yes, this is actually a benefit dinner, and we've been invited to his table. So we're joining him and his wife at his table for the...
Nice.
Yes. And I actually sent him a copy of the white paper that our Brian the Gay Crusader put together.
He won't read it.
He replied to my email and said, I'll take a look at it. I look forward to more heated debate.
Well, maybe we'll look at it.
But I mean, that's his premise. I look forward to more heated debate.
Were you having a heated debate with him?
Yeah. That's why I sent it to him, and over Christmas break.
You're sitting at the table. This is just something to put in the back of your mind.
Okay, all right.
You're going to be sitting at the table. You're going to be your hands are going to be touching the table edge around the wrist area.
No. I have my hands in my lap.
Just once it's in the back of your mind.
Okay.
And that's going to be your position. The guy's going to be talking, yakking away. The wine glass will be about, I'd say, 2 feet from your right hand. In the middle of a sentence, you thrust your right hand forward in one motion, grab the glass, and throw it right in his face, and then say douche.
Okay.
Can you? It's a thrust.
One fell swoop.
Yeah.
I splash him in the face and say douche.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we hadn't had one of these OBOT dinners for a while, and what happened, as you know, I was a bit disappointed. And we had nice dinners, of course, but I was a bit disappointed. I didn't have anything for the show. And what I learned is that these dinners were too close concurrently. So now we had a little more time. It was kind of like they went to the OBOT juice machine and filled up their batteries.
I see.
Oh man. You
hinted in an email that you have good stuff.
Well, it started off, so the evening before, I had seen 2 of the OBOTs, and one of the female bots said, Whoa, boy, Sochi, you're getting hacked. Everybody's getting hacked over there. Richard Engel, I trust him. He's from NBC. And that's exactly what she said, by the way. I trust Richard Engel. And
now, are you going to tell us that it's already been busted?
Well, but it hadn't been busted at this point. So the next day, which is our OBOT dinner day, in the morning, I send her the busted link. I say, hello, I told you that this guy's not to be trusted. It's completely bogus. I get an email back that says...
Why don't you explain to the audience? I don't think everybody knows this.
Okay. We actually played a clip from Richard Engel, who was talking about the minute you open up your laptop or the minute you turn on your phone, you're immediately hacked in Sochi. He said Sochi, although he was actually in Moscow.
Right, he was in Moscow. It wasn't in Sochi at all, and this whole thing was scripted bullcrap. It
was completely scripted, or as he would say, yes, it was edited. That's why it looks kind of weird, because what they didn't show is that they went to bogus Olympic websites, which you arguably could have gone to from Austin and gotten to the same website, and of course that downloaded some malware. And he also side-loaded an app on his Android phone. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's kind of how you get viruses and crap that eats your address book. By the way, did you see that piece? Did you see the actual video of that piece?
No.
Oh, okay. I'll put it in the show notes, because he opens up a brand new MacBook Air. And you've seen a MacBook Air, how beautifully Apple packages these devices. And you peel off the little. It's kind of a ritual. You peel off the little sticker, and whoosh, the box opens, and it says, "From Apple, from Cupertino to you." The whole thing just says, "Fuck me." I'm sorry, that's really what it is. It's just lovingly put together. This guy, he's opening the box on camera. He's ripping the side open. He's like ripping the box open. It's
really
very strange. Anyone who has had the pleasure of opening up a brand new Apple product knows how nice it is. He was just ripping it like a maniac. It's something to be seen, because it really confused me. Like, why is this guy doing this? Anyway, onward. So I send the email, and she sends back, and she says, well, to be fair, Richard Engel was on Rachel Maddow last night, and he did say they were in Moscow. And I fired back. I said, wait, you watched Rachel Maddow? She fires back, if I were gay, I would marry her. So this is already starting off on a bad foot for me.
Brother.
Yeah, right. So this
how is Rachel Maddow's neck big? How is it actually bigger than her head? Have you ever noticed this? Yeah. Her neck comes out, and her neck is wider than her head itself.
Yeah, it is.
It's very weird looking.
There's a guy, a TV host in Holland, who looks so much like her, it's scary.
Oh, give me a photo. I'll do it and put in the newsletter as I'm separated at birth.
Here, let's just Google this for a second, just so you see it. Martijn. So
okay,
Martijn.
I don't have my keyboard. Hold on a second.
You don't have your keyboard? John,
Mark, what?
Did you come to school? Did you come to school without your keyboard again?
It's on the ground. I've got it now.
Okay.
Mark what?
No, Martijn.
Martijn.
Space.
Yeah.
Krabbe. Krabbe. And he hosts the Voice, actually, in the Netherlands. The Voice of Holland. Do you see him?
He looks like a lesbian.
Yeah, well, hello. Doesn't he look just like Rachel Maddow?
There's one picture of him that I have on the screen.
I know.
It's remarkable.
It's frightening. Separated at birth. Martijn Krabbe and Rachel Maddow.
It's a gem.
Yeah, isn't it? Okay. So
onward.
that's, anyway, yes, onward. So remember, we have the brain professor and his wife, Marianne. We have the artist who wants to marry Rachel Maddow and her husband. And by the way, I made killer crab cakes and shrimp and
it was at your house.
Yes, yeah. And Mickey had the crostinis all set up, good to go. So it was really quite nice. And so of course, we're talking about the weather. And I swear to God, she turned to me and went, climate change, that's just global warming. You know that, right? They just use climate change now, but it's really global warming. You know that, right? That's exactly. I went. I said, yeah, but it's. And then the professor chimes in. No, it's. Come on, it's global warming. It has been warming. This is fact. It's just science. And I was. They know my stance on global cool. They know this.
Global cooling.
But it was frightening to actually tell me. That climate change is just. It really means global warming. Okay. So I actually stopped and I waited and I said, I just want to go on the record. It's okay. I just want to say, I believe that the global cooling is taking place. That's all. And yeah, okay. So there was no argument, but it was like they were having none of me.
They were doing a preemptive strike.
But it was a little aggressive.
Yeah, well, they're sick of you. You mocked them on this show.
Well, yeah.
I know who the artist is. I met her.
Yeah.
And it's like, I didn't know she was a huge Rachel Maddow nut.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
Okay. All right, go on. Let's go back to the meeting.
All right, so we're back. Now, both these couples, and arguably we are as well, but are childless by choice. And this adds a very
phrase.
This it's not good. This adds a very interesting twist to how they view the world. And it was kind of interesting at a certain point because they were have you ever been around people who are childless by choice?
Oh yeah, I know a number of them. I know some of it. There's two forms of these people. One is resignation childless by choice, which means they wanted to have kids.
Right. These are the
But then there's the aggressive ones, the other style, which is they hate kids and they don't want to have kids.
Whenever I see a child in first class, I already know I'm in for a horrible, crappy ride. Imagine cleaning your child's diarrhea.
To keep this on the two Ronnie style of discussion, which is a Shaggy Dog story, which is we do very well, I might add, on the show. I've noticed the childless by choice and people who are pre-child, their relationship to children on an airplane is very interesting because I, for example, don't mind children. I don't like children sitting behind me kicking the seat.
No, of course not.
But you can usually
stop them. Yeah, you stop them. Of course.
But I don't care about the kids screaming or crying or doing all these things because I had kids on planes that were my kids.
Yeah.
And I just think it's karmic justice.
Yes.
And I kind of look forward to it.
Yeah. Well,
I say, there's the kid screaming his head off. Mom is embarrassed. You can't get him or her to shut up.
Yeah.
We had a flight once from Hawaii with J.C. Buzzkill Jr. when he was about 4. And for some reason, he was always stubborn. And for some reason, we were trying to get him to get into the seat. And he let out a blood-curdling scream. It was so blood-curdling that I swear to God, my wife would back this up, the entire airplane cracked up laughing.
Great.
And it was like, holy mackerel, I didn't even know he had that in him. But it's like one of those things, and I don't, and so I hate people that bitch about kids on planes.
Yeah, me too. But this went a little, and Mickey and I are just being very quiet, and we're watching this back because the conversation, it was very interesting. It was like, oh my God, can you imagine cleaning up your kid's diarrhea? and so I wait. So
they think about.
So I hear this line, and I said, I never had a problem cleaning up my kid's diarrhea. In fact, when she was still in diapers, I'd stick my finger in and pull it out if there was poop on it. I knew it was time to clean the diaper. Now,
you couldn't tell by the smell, I take it.
Well, no, she pooped very sweetly.
Oh, she was a sweet pooper.
Yes, and so this goes back and forth, and then one of them says, "Oh, I just realized you're the only person here who has a kid." And I said, yeah. And I said, and I actually recited some of remember we talked about the book, about the joy of kids and how it turns out that it used to be an economic benefit, but these days it really makes people sad. It doesn't improve their lives at all because you have to make the kid happy. Right. So I talked a little bit about that. I said, but I have to say that from a metaphysical, chemical, biological place, it's great, and of course kids are shit. They treat you like shit. They're a-holes. They forget everything. They make a mess. They break your stuff. But there's also beautiful sides to it. And then I said to the professor, I said, that I can't exactly. I said something in that realm, and he got really mad. There was anger, and I said,
"What did you say?"
It was in that. It was basically about that. I said, but I think I said, you really might be missing something.
Oh, you implied that
I didn't say that specifically.
They're bigoted.
I didn't really, but the anger came back, and I said, "Wow, you're angry. Why are you so angry?" And then he let loose. He said, "Because all of our friends with kids are always telling us we don't know what we're missing." And by the way, both these guys have vasectomies, just to make it even funnier. So they can't. Can't go back.
This is interesting to me for a number of reasons, because I was doing some research on some women on Twitter that are just haters, and they're this type, and they like to get their men. I won't mention who the one. I follow this one. She's a famous writer, and she will put a picture of her husband with a big female purse. And she'll say, "I think men are so sexy when they have a purse."
And you could do that. You read the accent from the tweet? That's pretty good. I like it.
Kinda.
I think men are so sexy when they have a purse.
Yeah, and I find I have a friend who I believe probably had a vasectomy because he was talked into it by one of these women. And there's too many people in the world. You should get here. There's too many people in the world. Get your balls chopped off, buddy. Although that's not what a vasectomy is, I know. I don't want any letters.
Right. Anyway, let me just move this forward a little bit.
That would make you mad, because I think a vasectomy is like you.
That's why I think he was mad.
Close yourself off from.
And Mickey's funny now. At this point, Mickey's jumping in, and she's got a whole story unto her own about motherhood. But she says, "Oh, I would never ever let Adam have a vasectomy." So she's now it's like hello fire, here's gasoline.
Oh no.
She's like, I want him to always have the capability to produce more beautiful children. Like, now we've got
that must have put that this is the key to this dinner.
Mickey is the key. So now we have a 5 alarmer. Now it's a and so eventually this simmers down a little bit.
Boy, I'd hope.
Yeah. And by the professor's wife, Marianne, she's like, I love your daughter. She met the kids when they were here. She's really great. And she is the funniest, and I'll get to her in a minute. I really love her for a number of reasons, because she comes out with the most insane crap. But before that, of course, it comes around to Russia. Now, I had sent the white paper previous to this dinner. Had anyone read it? Well, the professor had said, yeah, I read like the intro, 10 pages, and they hate gays. And then Marianne, Putin's a power-hungry dictator. I said, yeah, unlike George Bush, Dick Cheney, Bill Clinton. Yeah, he doesn't have any powerful people or money around those guys, or maybe even Barack Obama. It was just, it's not. I said, well, please give it a shot. And in his defense and the artist's husband, both of those guys read it and went, "Holy crap! What is wrong with our media?" This is they did a little Facebook thing. Okay, so in their defense, they read it later, but they hadn't come prepared to my dinner, which was a little surprising. So as a part of this conversation about Putin being a power-hungry dictator, Marianne says, "Well, did you hear the Koch brothers are at it again?" And I'm shitting myself.
Koch brothers.
I said, "What are you talking?" I said, "Well, you can't deny the Koch brothers buy the elections with Adelson."
Yeah. You saw that how good that Adelson really kicked some butt.
Yeah, that worked really well, didn't it? Boy,
those right as president, right?
Yeah, those Koch brothers, they got Mitt Romney in, didn't they? Good work.
They got Newt Gingrich in. That was Adelson's boy. So those guys are great.
So somehow this now morphs into, I know how it happened. I in my mailbox shows up an "I'm ready for Hillary" sticker, bumper sticker, which I'm pretty convinced Armando the mailman put in there, because that's it's like, all right, Armando, that's funny. And I tell the story, and then it's like, post office horrible, losing money. I'm like, oh God, they don't listen to our show, do they? And so I started. I kind of like the United States Postal Service. It's in the Constitution. It really is very important for privacy of documentation. And then Marianne goes, "Oh, you go to the post office?" And Mickey loves going to I have to say our post office here it's a drafty, but she has, you know, Mickey. She goes in. She's got everyone wrapped around her finger. You know, the big lesbian whose girlfriend or wife is in the military, and you know, she's got everyone's beck and call for Mickey. But Marianne says, "Oh, that post office. Oh yeah, I love sitting there with all of Darwinism."
What?
All of Darwinism.
Jeez.
Right?
Huh.
And okay, but I give her a pass because she really is lovely. And then somehow we get into Islam. Now we're at dessert. And I said, well, it's been very interesting to see what's going on in Turkey and Syria, and learning a lot about how things operate, and the Ottoman Empire, and of course Mickey and I, we grew up in the Netherlands. We've seen how things have changed, and we talked about Belgistan, and what comes back? Oh, well, Islam is no crazier than Christians. Yeah, I think they might be. No. Fundamental Christians are just as nutty. All religions are crazy. Yeah, you got me on that, but this is something very specific that's going on. Could not get it past them, John. And then I made the big mistake.
Wow, that means that, well, you're not, they are reflective, of course.
Of course.
And so their input to them, would be, we know what the inputs are, must be extremely distorted, because we don't really deal with that as much.
No, and
you actually deal with it only as they're like a proxy for you, and
yes.
You get a good sense of this. I'm in the Berkeley area, so essentially it's around me.
Yeah, but they're in my house.
The origins of this thought,
and the funny thing is, I still really consider them my friends, and I really like them. But I'm aghast.
They're not going to put up with you much longer.
Well, no, I think they will. And what always happens is the next day, there's always like, wow, that was really great conversation. I learned a lot. Thanks for hitting. They don't say hit me in the mouth, but they do reflect on it. But it was too long, and they came in, and they've been reprogrammed, and they looked. None of them really looked all that happy.
No,
they didn't really look happy.
This perspective and point of view,
and with the whole kid thing, it's like just so they're being
depressing.
They're being nagged at by their peers. They've done something by choice, not irreversible, but they've kind of chosen this path.
Yeah,
and
a lot of people do,
and it seems yeah, sure.
But here's the thing about that: if you're going to make that move, that's why I think the gays can get away with being like this, because their entire milieu is reconfirming their belief system.
Yes.
If you're going to mix with people with kids, you're going to get a lot of flack.
You're right.
Many people you'll hear this a lot from celebrities. You hear it all the time. It's like, oh, I never wanted to have kids, but when I had kids, I wouldn't do it. I would always want to have kids forever.
Well, it was also we all came from shitty households. I said, welcome to the club. So everyone comes from a shitty family. All families suck in one form or the other. Anyway, so now we're near the end of the evening, and it went downhill. The professor brought up
go downhill.
Wait for it. The professor brought up the Tom Perkins letter regarding the 1%, and I said, "Oh, that's interesting." On the show, I took Tom Perkins' side. The eyes could not have rolled further back in heads. And of course, I defended my position. I said, look, it's all I know is that the Germans didn't wake up one day and go, Hitler's great, kill the Jews. I said that something else must have gone down, and literally 5 minutes into this, people are standing up and I'm like, did I just did everyone run off because of the Jew talk? Like, no, we're tired, and that was the end. And you know what? You
didn't talk about Jew gas.
No, I didn't. But I said, there's something to be said for any persecution of any minority at any time. You have to be very careful, particularly if you're poo-pooing it. I said Hitler was Person of the Year, Man of the Year on Time Magazine in 1935 or 37.
I think he hit Time Magazine's cover twice.
Twice, yeah. So we're poor students of history. Anyway, everyone thanks me, and they're out the door. And Mickey and I like,
well, you sound like, to me, you're argumentative. I mean,
I had to be.
But if you're going to bring up that, and I'm on their side on this, of course.
But I didn't bring it. I didn't bring up the Tom Perkins letter. I responded to.
Bring it up. Who gives a shit what Tom Perkins does?
I'll tell you how it came up. It came up in regards to because the artist used to work for Compaq, and that's how. And then it was talking about old days at Compaq, of course HP, and that's how Tom Perkins came up. And I said, and she's like, Tom Perkins is a moron. I'm like, yeah, but so that's how we kind of got into it. And it was like, John Doerr, now there's a smart guy. I'm like, I had him on my board. I don't think he's all that smart. He's okay. But it's not like he knows anything about.
I've known Doerr for a long time. I mean, I'm not friends with him by any means. But every time I'm around him, I don't know if this is with everybody, but he's always shaking.
And have you ever looked at his fingernails?
Is he biting them?
Oh, yeah. No, he has to have Band-Aids on his thumbnail because he chews it all the way off down to like the bone. It's the most disgusting thing. Huh. Yeah, there's something to be said about people who do that.
Yeah.
So anyway, I certainly hope that, we have another, we've already scheduled our next dinner. So
I'm telling you, you're done. And I think what it is, here's why.
I don't want to be done.
I do real-time analysis when we talk. A lot of stuff is just at the end.
Yeah.
And in this case, it was your revealing that the two guys put themselves in the corner by having vasectomies. I think it was personal. I think it's something they didn't want everybody that listens to our show to know about. Of course, nobody knows who they are, but that's different. And I think you're gonna eat shit for that.
Well, hopefully it'll happen during the dinner, so I'll have some material for the show.
We didn't appreciate you ridiculing us for the vasectomy and my high-pitched voice.
I didn't ridicule anyone for a vasectomy. Mickey did. I didn't do that. Anyway, in the morning to you, John C. Dvorak.
Hey. In the morning to Adam Curry. In the morning, all ships at sea, boots on the ground, feet in the air, subs in the water, and all the dames and nights out there. And yes, I am prepared.
Yes, and in the morning to everyone in the chat room, noagendastream.com, noagendachat.net. And in the morning to our artists, who always provide excellent art for us. Peter Quistgaard, who I do not believe has had a piece chosen. He was the artist who succeeded for episode 489 to be the album art. But as you know, noagendaartgenerator.com, we choose lots of that art for newsletters. People print it out on coasters, on T-shirts. There's tons of cool stuff to be done with it. And all the art is highly appreciated. And, of course, we could not be talking the way we speak on this show, for sure, this first half hour, if we had advertisers. If Verizon was sponsoring us, we'd have to talk about
how great Verizon phones aren't.
Verizon. This vasectomy brought to you by Verizon. So instead, we have producers.
Just like your calls get cut off.
Woo! Nice one, John.
In the morning.
Good one. Rhymes with calls.
So we do have a few people to thank.
Yes, we do.
Our executive producing group, including we finally have our first. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Sir John Harrison, $600.
Woohoo! First 600
which is our 6th anniversary donation amount. Pinehurst, North Carolina. He gets 2 executive producer credits, one on the show 600. Loved your Saturday missive, John. I like to move from cats to dogs. I had a dog picture.
Yep.
A MILF would be better, but a dog isn't bad. Can I get a MILF, the grown-up one, for my lovely wife, Sherry, and a shot of job hunting karma for my son, John? Keep up the great work. We look forward to seeing Adam and Mickey at the Saturday market. Thanks, John Harrison, Austin, Texas.
Yeah, these guys are great. They actually moved from North Carolina to Austin. They now live in. They moved. They came to visit. We met them at Halcyon. We had coffees, and we met them at the market. And they came back another time, and now they moved. They moved to Austin. We see them in the market all the time. And the first 600 club producer. This is great.
Were they from Pinehurst, anywhere near Research Triangle, where all the spook research companies
Totally.
are?
Yeah, and they're both...
and so then they moved to Austin to keep
an eye on me. They're both educators. Wink, wink.
I'll bet they are.
MILF
That's one mother I'd like to.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs. You've got karma.
And his son, I've met his son too. I think he's also moved. His son is also in Austin.
Interesting.
Yeah.
James Von Aken in Temple, Texas, another Texan, 36333. In the morning, John and Adam, I must say you guys create an outstanding product that keeps me entertained and informed during my drudgery at work. I believe you should share in the fruits of my labors, as it is bonus time again for me. My wife keeps telling me to donate again. There you have it.
Hey.
So here it is. Please send some job karma as I'm interviewing for a new job, and MILF. He wants
exactly the same thing. The exact same. Well, I can do a little different combo. I can do
his wife, Kate.
Yeah. Okay.
And it says, keep up the good work.
All right.
That's one hot MILF, baby.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs. You've got karma.
Do you really think they're pissed off? Do you really think they're going to be mad about the vasectomy thing?
Yeah.
They should have told me. Fools.
Well, did they tell you they had a vasectomy on the spot?
Yes.
At the dinner, they told you this.
Yes.
They know that this dinner is discussed on the show.
Yes.
Well, that's your out.
That's my out. Yeah. That and a bulletproof vest is my out. And a helmet.
No,
they know this.
I have this situation with the economic hitman. And he says stuff that, and once in a while I go, well, maybe I'm going to tell this to all we have a lot of people that provide us with information. I'm going to make a blanket statement here. If you do not want us talking about something,
then don't talk to us.
Tell us.
No, don't talk to us. Just stop.
Well, you could do that too, but I will abide by this is not to be discussed in caps.
And put that at the top of your note in case we're reading something live on the air. Do you remember the guy who sent in the thing? And even though I didn't reveal his name, he was talking about heroin, and I said, he's and at the bottom, he's an addict, or he was an addict, and we were making a joke about it. He got really, really pissed off about it. You made me sound like an addict. I'm sorry. You sent me an email.
Said you were an addict.
Yeah.
If we don't use somebody's name, even though in some situations the person can be identified, I'm less concerned about it.
Yeah, but you're right. If you do not want something discussed, say that. I still often, if I'm thinking about, I'll ask, is it okay if I use this on the show? I will, but it saves us a lot of time, saves another round of emails and all that stuff. So please.
Yeah, and the other thing that you should note is that because we're a public distribution mechanism that acts as a news outlet, any mail sent to us is like letters to the editor.
Yeah, true.
And they can be used.
Yes.
With or without your name. But I mean, we're very circumspect.
We really try very hard. So we've been pretty good. And of course, I do PGP and GPG if you want to send something. But the funny thing is, ever since I've been doing encrypted emails, I'd say 99% of all the emails I receive that are encrypted are completely not worth encrypting. Although everything's worth encrypting, I will say that up front. But the process for decrypting emails, if you haven't verified someone yet for the first time, you have to go through all this stuff. And of course, I don't have passwords set automatically to decrypt because that would kind of defeat the purpose. When someone's banging on the door. It's a little more work is what it is.
Mr. Adam Curry. Open the door, Mr. Curry, now.
So anyway, onward.
Sir Andrew Harms from Durham, North Carolina. Here we go. This is Texas, North Carolina stuff going on today. Yeah. $300. Dear John and Adam, I'm checking in with some value for value. It should bump me to a double knighthood,
which is baronet.
Which makes him a baronet. Make a note.
Mm-hmm.
Make a note.
Make a note.
Please give yourselves and all the listeners some karma. Take care. Sir Andrew Harms, Kansas City 0 WII.
Kilo Charlie 0 W India. Thank you very much.
You've got karma.
Jim Lavin, $250 from Louisville, Texas. As we stay,
what is going on with Texas? That's great.
long-time boner, but I have to give you guys a producer's level donation for just the stray dogs and Sochi prediction. No sooner than I was finished listening to Thursday's show, I see Twitter and Google Plus reports of stray dogs wandering into the stadium just prior to the opening ceremonies. Your predictions are always right on the money. Also, I've been a long-time subscriber to the hypothesis that if you follow the money to find out who stands to profit from the laws our government passes, then you can truly see who's running the government. And your analysis of past legislation just helps to bolster that hypothesis all the more. Please de-douche me and pass some mac and cheese karma my way, since I'm trying to get myself out of debt so I can get out from being a slave to the man. Keep up the great work.
Jim from Louisville, Texas.
You've been de-douched.
You slaves can get used to mac and cheese. Cheap macaroni and cheap cheddar melted together.
Mac and cheese.
You've got karma.
Living the mac and cheese life.
Mac and Cheese by Ayn Rand.
Sir Chris Wolf. Oh, I'm sorry. Jim Lavin. No, we just did Jim. Sorry. Sir Chris Wolf in Mooresville, Indiana. We finally left Texas, 2222.
But we're not far.
No, well.
Just up north, yeah.
Been a douche too long as a night. I should do better, but now I need karma for my new CD release, so it's all about me. That makes this a douchebag dumping deuces donation.
Nice.
Sorry and thanks for the karma.
I think it should be de-douche, too, for that. I think that's valid.
You've been de-douched.
Here's your karma, my friend, coming at you. Nice.
Karma.
Douchebag dumping deuces donation. I like that.
Thomas Klassen in St. Louis, Missouri, 200. Longtime listener, first-time donor, thought it was about time to contribute. Sorry it's been so long. Anyway, the wife and I have had a new human resource due in 5 weeks. Woo-hoo. So some new human resource karma would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, and you'll be needing it, my friend. As you know, they sometimes have diarrhea.
You've got karma.
And finally, Dominic Adamson from Bolton, UK, $200 with a short note that says nothing more than, "Hi, Adam. Thanks for the experience." What is that all
I don't know. I should look in my day planner, see what happened.
Yeah. And that concludes our listing of the associate executive producers and executive producers for show 590. 10 to go before we get to show 600. Wow. I want to remind people to go to Dvorak.org/NA, channeldvorak.com/NA. The No Agenda Show and NoAgendaNation.com sites both have buttons you can click on, which will help too.
And from the PR department, and I do not want to, I'm going to stop this. This will be the last time, but they're so funny this time that I have to mention them. Because we went through this, we do domain name forwards, and it actually cuts into our donations at a certain point. People just registering domain names, giving the money to GoDaddy, you know. But I do have to thank stay-at-home mom Trad for f-russia.com, waroncrazy.com, and CurryDvorakConsultingGroup.com, all forwarding to noagendashow.com. That's very nice. Thank you. Thank you, Baroness Tanya of Manhattan, for slavestrong.com. My God, that's a good one.
I like that one.
Well, you'll like the next one. From Sir Dr. Sharkey, sendkaleToAfrica.com. Very good. And all of those, of course, forward to No Agenda Show. And we really appreciate the support. Sundays have been tough. You got the letter. You got the call out. And our executive producers and associate executive producers will be credited appropriately with our very first 600 Club producer. A separate mention from Sir John Harrison. Without you, the program literally would not be on the air. We highly appreciate it. These credits are real. We'll vouch for them, unlike the douchebags in Hollywood, and they are accepted anywhere credits are valid.
Dvorak.org/NA.
Of course, we always love it when you go out there and do a very important propagation of the formula.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth. Order! Order!
Shut up, slave!
Shut up, slave!
I think we need to talk about Victoria Nuland and Ukraine.
Yeah, okay.
And the reason why is because we have a jingle.
While I'm driving off laughing, this is what I'll say.
Fuck the EU. Fuck
Fuck the EU. Fuck the EU. Fuck the EU.
No, exactly.
Fuck the EU.
Are we good or what?
Wow.
Yeah, that's Matt, producer Matt. Yeah, he's good, man. Do you know if we were working at a radio
Nailed
station?
it.
Yeah, I know. And he also did a short one. So so that was the long one. Then we just have a shorty to wind things up.
Fuck the EU. Fuck the EU.
If we were working at a real station, we'd have to have a meeting, call the production guy.
Oh, yeah.
Call the music bed guy from, top.
And legal.
Pepper Tanner. Legal. We'd have to call legal. And it would be beep the EU. Beep, 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 beep,
And there'd be some debate with legal that our producer would take credit for winning. If it wasn't for me, legal would have probably shut this down. So I did such a great job because I argued with him.
Exactly. I have a couple. Did you have anything to start off with? I should ask you.
Yeah, if you
Tell me
want
what
to
you
just change topic before we do the Newlands, or you want to do the Newlands?
Yeah, I want to do Newland because
I have the RT version of because RT is the one, and the Russians kind of they deny they clipped this, and nobody knows for sure, but we're pretty sure the Russians. I have a number of meta thoughts about this, but I want to hear yours first.
Okay.
But let's play.
So you can scoff at you can scoff at me.
Sorry?
You want to hear my first so you can scoff at my ideas?
I'm not going to scoff at anything, but what is it?
No. What is RT Report? Is that the one you want me to play?
Yeah, play that, and this will get us started.
All right, that's a long one. Okay.
Our top story this hour, a scandal brewing as Washington's real stance on Ukraine may have leaked on the web. An alleged phone conversation between U.S. Assistant Secretary of State Victoria Nuland and the U.S. Ambassador to the Ukraine has appeared on YouTube. Let's get more from RT's Marina Portnaya live for us in New York. So, Marina, what did the two allegedly discuss?
Well, what you hear these two high U.S. officials discussing is literally putting members of the Ukrainian opposition, moving them around like as if they were playing chess on how to configure a new government in Ukraine. The U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine, Jeffrey Payet, and the U.S. Assistant Secretary of State, Victoria Nuland, were trying to figure out who would fit best in what position. They said that one of the opposition leaders, Yatsenyuk, is the guy with the economic experience and the best governing experience, that he's the guy that should be on the inside. They also mentioned Klitschko, another opposition leader, and one more, Tsenibok. The two U.S. officials say that those are the guys that should remain outside of government. They even referenced Klitschko as a complicated electron in the circumstance of creating a new government. They said they mentioned even troubles that he's having in his marriage right now, how that could come into play with him having a role in the...
Hold on a second. I have what I thought was the full call. I have not heard that about the marriage. Have you heard that bit?
Yeah.
Really?
But I think the two of us are going to come to pretty much the same conclusion about this whole thing.
Well,
but did it end there?
No, 30 more seconds.
The newly formed Ukrainian government, they spoke about keeping the moderate Democrats together. They also spoke about the fact that they need something to make their plan stick. Once a new government is formed, if it starts gaining altitude, they need some kind of symbolism, be it a UN figure to come into Ukraine, give a nod to it. They say if that doesn't happen, they said that the Russians could come in and torpedo any plans the U.S. is now putting in place for the new Ukrainian government.
Okay.
All right, now, of course, I left out the EU commentary because I think that was slightly a distraction. But anyway.
Well, the real distraction, of course, is the actual "fuck the EU" that she says.
That's what I said.
That, of course, is the actual distraction. I want to just go to the very end of that call. I have it here. I have the whole thing in the show notes. I just want to go to the very end to understand. I heard some things. I just want to make sure that I'm hearing the same things that you were hearing. And in general, the way these people talk, it's almost like you and I wrote this skit. It's like, what do you think Yats should do? Screw that guy. He should stay home. He should study his history, his political tradecraft. We could have literally written this phone call. And particularly if we're just go, fuck the EU. which is how these people talk. And Victoria Nuland is a longtime elitist, Council on Foreign Relations. She's been in intelligence. I think she was in, she might have even been in the agency, I think, for a while, which kind of makes sense with...
Her backgrounds are very spooky.
Can you just check for a second while I rack this up? Was she in the CIA? I just had a thought about that.
No, she was not.
She was
tell
not?
you right now.
Okay.
Glue it. And, fuck
I
the
think Psaki was.
Psaki, right. So here's the fuck the EU. But then listen to what she's saying about, she talks about Jake Sullivan, who is Joe Biden's national security advisor. She talks about Biden himself. And essentially what I hear her say, and then there's one word I want to focus your attention on. She's saying to the ambassador, I spoke to Jake. No problem. We got Biden to give the current prime minister an attaboy, which is I've seen this in Silicon Valley. You did a good job. You get an attaboy, you get $500. An attaboy. It's like a little rub on the head. Give an attaboy to the prime minister. So they're playing all sides of this.
No, exactly. And I think we've got to do something to make it stick together, because you can be pretty sure that if it does start to gain altitude, the Russians will be working behind the scenes to try to torpedo it.
I love the mixed metaphor there, by the way. That's very strange. If it gains altitude, we're going to shoot a torpedo at it?
Yeah, right.
Really?
That's a good catch. Good catch.
And again, the fact that this is out there right now, I'm still trying to figure out in my mind why Yanukovych did that. But in the meantime, there's a Party of Regions faction meeting going on right now, and I'm sure there's a lively argument going on in that group at this point. But anyway, we could land jelly side up on this one if we move fast. So let me work on Klitschko, and if you can just keep, I think we want to try to get somebody with an international personality to come out here and help to midwife this thing. And then
so just so you know, this is very clear. They've got the Dutch. Former Dutch ambassador to Ukraine who wrote a book about Ukraine. That's the Sari guy who they're going to bring in, along with Ban Ki-moon. So they're literally saying, we've got cover, we've got, the United Nations is going to help us out. They're going to do the whole statecraft, tradecraft thing of essentially putting together the government that the United States wants. But here's the end is interesting.
The other issue is some kind of outreach to Yanukovych, but we probably
he's asking for outreach to Yanukovych, who's the current prime minister.
Group on that tomorrow as we see how things start to fall into place.
So on that piece, Jeff, when I wrote the note, Sullivan's come back to me, VFR, saying you need Biden, and I said probably tomorrow for an attaboy and to get the deeds to stick. So okay. Biden's willing.
Now she says to get the deeds to stick. I Googled myself nutty. I could not. What I thought this might mean, the deeds, would that be the drilling right deeds? What other deeds could she possibly mean that need to stick?
I don't know, but somebody that's overhearing this knows. And let me put right here what I think is going on as my basic meta thesis on this. And this was triggered by a note that somebody sent me referencing some guy. I can't remember, but it's not going to be in the show notes, but it's a news analysis site where the guy's going on condemning Nuland for being an idiot because she must know that these conversations are being taped. And once he said that, I says, oh, okay. Now, he didn't get this, but as soon as he said it, I got it. This is rehearsed. This was meant to be intercepted. They got lucky when the Russians ran it out, but this was a message to the Russians listening to try to turn the conversation, to try to manipulate the situation. The fact that it went public, I think, was just a bonus. And it got the benefit of the fuck the EU and all the other stuff. And the reason I suggest that this whole thing is rehearsed, it was designed to be overheard. It was designed to be snooped on because there's no way that in fact, this guy was right. There's no way that people at this level don't know they're being snooped on. So this whole thing is a rigged bullshit conversation that was designed for the Russians to listen to tweak them a certain way, to push them this way or that way, or to get some sort of result. The rest, the fact that it went public, is just a triple bonus. They couldn't have asked for a better situation. Now they've got their message out there. We don't know what they're really trying to accomplish. Are they telling us that Klitschko is not to be one of the governors because they want him to actually be the governor? Or are they saying fuck the EU because they actually want the EU to get more involved and actually take in the Ukraine, which has got to be a great benefit for us because the Ukraine is literally a terrible place. And it would be just dynamite for them to become part of the EU and screw it up. It's like a poison pill.
It's like, hey, want some cancer?
And so you don't know it, but if you look at it from the perspective that this is bullcrap and they're just talking to be heard, to be listened to be eavesdropped upon, and the whole thing is manipulation at some very high level. And I was talking to Buzzkill Jr. about this, and I said, here's the key. My thesis may be wrong, but if Victoria Nuland doesn't resign or quit or get reprimanded, then my thesis is absolutely correct. And I've seen no evidence that she's in the hot seat for this.
I like it. I came to that conclusion and another one. And it was mainly based on this soundbite from her that I thought there might be one other possibility.
Other than to say it was pretty impressive tradecraft. The audio was extremely clear.
So this is a giveaway. To me, I thought it's also possible this was an FU from one of the agencies to state, so that maybe NSA is kicking back at state/CIA. Possible.
To what end?
I don't know. I don't just to say we can listen to anybody. We can.
Well, that's a possibility. Somebody suggested it was one of Snowden's buddies, but
possibly,
or somebody in the NSA. But I think it was too pointed. I like that idea that somebody's pulling a stunt, but I think they could have found something better than this. And this is really pointed. It's about one thing and one thing only. It's not about their sex life. It's not about anything really embarrassing.
Right.
It's about the Ukraine,
hold on.
the Ukraine.
But it's embarrassing to Nuland, who is definitely all in all state shill. It's embarrassing to Biden because he's treated like a fluffer.
I don't think it's embarrassing to Nuland at all.
The fuck the EU. That's embarrassing to her.
I don't think so. I think that was done on purpose.
So of course, I watched all of the State Department press briefings, and you can always count on some good questions there. Of course, Matt was asking some interesting questions, but then Ashad or Ashraf, whatever his name is, I forget his name.
Yeah, the guy sounds like Matt.
No, he's the guy in the back. He's kind of the soft-spoken guy.
There's a guy in the front that sounds like Matt.
Yeah, no, this is a different guy.
On the issue of how you discuss things, do State Department officials routinely use encrypted phones, mobile phones, for their conversations so that comments like that one do not become public?
Well, Arshad, for obvious reasons, I can't outline for you everything that we do. I can tell you that data encryption is available for all Department of State employee issued government-owned BlackBerry devices, regardless of rank. All Department of State government-owned BlackBerry devices have data encryption. However, they don't have voice encryption. And of course, as you know, I know you didn't ask this, but just to add one more additional point.
Always interesting when the spokeshole volunteers information.
Classified processing and classified conversation on a personal digital assisted device is prohibited in accordance with department policy, which of course is not what this was. But
now he's going. I like this guy, although he's.
By the way, this guy's gut voice is like Matt's.
No.
Yes. No. When him and Matt are talking back and forth, you can't tell what's talking.
Here's Matt.
And he's on the right. He's not way in the back.
Here's Matt.
Toria's phone call.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now go to him.
But just an added point.
So they don't have voice encryption.
Well, the same cadence, you're right, but it's noticeably different.
So nobody at the State Department has a phone where their voice, a mobile phone where their voice can be encrypted?
I'm not going to outline it further for obvious reasons. I think we don't...
What obvious reason? Why don't you say, of course, our shit's locked up?
We need to convey every step we take and every precaution we take. That's the information I can provide to all of you.
Does the Secretary... I think it's perfectly reasonable to ask if the Secretary of State has a mobile phone or access to a mobile phone near him or her.
This is a good question. I think it's a very normal question. Does the Secretary of State communicate on encrypted phone lines?
With voice encryption.
I think it's perfectly reasonable to ask, but I think it's perfectly reasonable not to answer either.
So, here's
No, this is really weird. That's why I tape this. Like, why is that? And he's not having it either.
Problem, though, if you're not answering that about the Secretary of State, it leaves open the possibility that he or she does not, in fact, have access to an encrypted cell phone, which would suggest that all kinds of...
This plays into your theory, John. They're honeypotting this thing. Yeah, Kerry doesn't have any encryption either. Yeah,
take a listen.
They're honeypotting.
Secret, top secret, classified, private comments that he or she might make could be accessed by the intelligence services of other countries.
Well, I just said that classified processing and classified conversation on a personal digital assisted device is prohibited. Beyond that, all I'm conveying is that we're not going to outline every step and precaution we take and what we have access to, whether that's the secretary or anyone else in the administration.
I think she's honeypotting. Now that I hear your theory, I'm thinking she's like, yeah, no, well, we don't have any, we can't tell you about that.
Yeah, no, this is very suspicious in every way.
I'm in agreement.
And she was totally impressed with the trade craft, the quality of the call.
Let's listen to that again, because that was she's saying that in a certain way that bugged me.
Other than to say it was pretty impressive tradecraft, the audio was extremely clear.
What is she? I mean, yeah, it was clear. It was very, very clear. What is she trying to say?
I think she may be condemning our own people for not because we get stuff.
Dude, you made it sound too good.
And it's probably not as good as this. What are the Russians up to?
No, I think it's different. It's like I think what she's saying is you made it sound too good. To make it sound like you're tapping us, for Christ's sakes. It sounds like
no, you might be right. It's kind of a reverse.
Like it sounds like you're on this.
Hey, you guys!
It sounds like you're on a conference call with us
in the room.
By the way, it was probably they were on a conference call. That's what it was. That's exactly how it sounds. Because you're here. If you listen to the recording, both her and the ambassadors are equal in quality.
What do you think?
Here, listen.
I think we're in.
That sounds like a conference call. It's just a third-party conference call.
Using one of those conference systems.
Yeah. Well, one of those free ones, 1-800 conference call. Probably. I like your theory. I like it. I really wanted to try and shoehorn it into mine, but I think yours is much better. Makes a lot of sense. Now, that the fact that she's not resigning or getting fired, I mean, that's kind of par for the course at State Department. You can have your ambassador killed and you don't have to resign. You just move to another job.
That's a different model. But
just move to another job. And
I think the thing that has to be done now is to reevaluate what is being said with it in mind, that this could all be just misdirection, disinformation. Right. They're saying one thing because they want the Russians to do something else. And then if you want to go one step higher, maybe the Russians actually sense that this is, because they're not idiots, they sense that this is bull crap, and that's why they released the thing in the first place.
No, I want to
something fishy about this whole thing, let's face it.
I want to stick with your theory because essentially it is a move, and Putin it's his move. He has to make a move. If he doesn't, just from I'm taking my shirt off and hunting down this tiger perspective, he has to do something. It's like poking the gorilla through the cage with a pencil. Don't you think he has to say something?
He's going to have to. Well, I don't know. Did you watch him in the Olympics when he was seated at the middle of everything?
Yes, of course.
He was thinking about something. He looked preoccupied to me.
You can never tell with these guys.
No, that's true, and he's pretty stone-faced, generally speaking. But I don't know. He has to do something.
This clearly justifies some form of intervention in Ukraine. He has to make a move. Even the president. Wow, it's kind of coming together. Did you see I don't have a clip of it. The president was interviewed by Bob Costas, which was a very funny interview because Bob Costas has like this stink eye and one eye is closed.
Yeah, and his eye is closed because he got an infection.
And the president looks like he's been smoking 15 doobies.
Yeah, the president, everyone thinks he was stoned.
I don't think he was stoned, but he looked tired for sure. And at the very end, the president says, well, Putin, he likes to sit there and play the tough guy. That's kind of his shtick. Can you imagine someone saying that about our president? Hey, being a stoner douchebag is his shtick. Shtick. I think they're poking him, and if so, I have to say, bravo. Very, very smart move. And
and also gave the EU a little what if.
And they deserve that.
No, that's what I thought I was going to say.
Yeah.
Nuland's great.
Yeah, I have to say she's great. She really, if that really was set up that way, and I think she has it in her. She's been around, man. Did you look her up or not?
Yeah. Oh no, I did. No, she's not an agency, but everything else smells of it. And if you got to actually, you have to go look it up. You have to go to the Wikipedia and look at just to see her picture in the Wikipedia.
All right, everyone, do this at home. If you're in the car,
this is a picture of a girl who's having too much fun.
And it's funny because she's very cute, but when you see her whole body, which we haven't really seen because she's always behind the lectern, she's like Humpty Dumpty. I'm sorry to say it. I mean, I don't like to.
Yeah, she could use a little exercise.
She could get on. She could do a little spin class. Okay, daughter of Yale bioethics and medicine professor. Okay, Cote Rosemary Hall. Is that like some huge like elite? Well, she went to Brown. Okay, Brown is spook heaven.
Choate, I have no idea.
Choate. She speaks Russian, French, and some Chinese. Hello, didn't know that. Senior officer of Foreign Service. Spook.
Hello.
Worked for both Democratic and Republican. And during the Bill Clinton, she was chief of staff to Secretary of State Strobe Talbot. W. Bush, principal deputy foreign policy advisor to Cheney. Okay. She's in the zombie crew. U.S. ambassador to NATO. That's the military-industrial complex. Special envoy for the conventional armed forces in Europe. Yeah, she's...
And in terms of manipulation, you have to remember she's married to Robert Kagan.
Yeah, that's
a Brookings guy, and he's the founder of the Project for the New American Century, a right-wing neocon thing.
Well, no, these are the guys that said we need a new Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
Before 9/11 took place.
Right.
Unfortunately, they wrote that before 9/11. Gee. Yeah, we need a new 9/11, and we need to blow up Syria. That's also in the... I need to get that. I need to review those documents again, the PNAC, because there's a lot of stuff in there that I think is happening now. I know Syria was listed in PNAC because we have to rebelize it. Wouldn't surprise me if there's something in there about Ukraine and Belarus and all these other kind of in between countries. I had a clip of Matt. I don't remember what it is. Let me just listen for a second. He was bitching about something in regards to this as well.
Yesterday and Toria's phone call. Mm-hmm. You've seen the comments from Chancellor Merkel's spokesperson saying that this is unacceptable. Do you have any thoughts on that? Do you agree?
Well, I think if Toria were standing back here again, she would convey to you that she apologized, obviously, because doesn't reflect how she feels about our relationship with the EU. It's also important to note that she's been in close touch with EU officials since then, not about this, but about work we're doing together on Ukraine. So we have a long and enduring relationship with Germany. The Secretary was just there last week, as you know, and discussed a range of bilateral issues we work on, and we expect we'll be back to business as usual with them as well.
Right, but in the phone call, she didn't say F Germany. She said F the EU.
Exactly.
Yes. I love Matt. He's really good.
No, I felt the same way.
Yeah.
And Merkel, you say fuck the EU, which is what she said.
And why is Merkel all of a sudden
Why is Merkel jump up as though she was personally offended?
Because
that was as they
giveaway.
Like to use in the big magazines. That was telling.
That was telling. Chilling, yet telling. Totally.
I know. I am familiar with what she said.
Right. So it's a broader thing here. I mean, what is your response? I mean, do you think that Merkel is that the Germans are taking this, blowing this out of proportion? I mean, what would your response be to her? Is it the diplomatic equivalent of lighten up Angela or something? What is it?
I think we're just conveying that obviously we've moved forward in our relationship with the EU.
Yeah. Blah 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 blah. All right. Do we close it out?
Well, I do have one thing because it's not better than that clip, but I do have one more little clip here that came from also Pataki, Saki, whatever her name is. I keep saying Pataki when it's Saki.
Saki.
But it starts with a P.
It's Saki, Jem Psaki. And by the way, they're doing a different angle on her. You must look at the video. She has her hair. She has kind of one of those. You know what it is? It used to be like a Posh Spice. No, what's her name? Victoria Beckham.
Yeah, Beckham.
It's kind of cut down, so it's longer in the front, but it's a very straight edge cut. And they're catching her on a different angle, which I'm sure is someone thought about. She looks kind of cute in this new shot.
She's interesting because she worked for the agency, so she looks like she's a field agent. She's got all these different looks. You'd never recognize her on the street. She's perfect.
Yeah, and she's redhead, so she has no soul, which is great for being
perfect.
a spokesperson.
And you can tell when she tries to be funny. Now this thing I got, Saki is an idiot.
I see it. Yeah,
I want to set it up. This is actually two clips put together. This was the clip. There were two clips with a little conversation in between used on RT. So RT, when they were doing their package, believed that these were the most important clips, and one of them just seemed to ridicule the woman for having no sense of humor with that stupid joke about the fishing boat. And I just thought it was, again, telling that they would think these clips because you had different clips completely. I thought you were going to actually have one of these part of one of yours, but the RT people for some reason thought this was important.
He's been in close contact with EU High Representative Ashton. Also, let me convey that she has been in contact with her EU counterparts and of course has apologized. But for these reported comments, of course.
So you're not confirming that the comments are accurate?
Yeah, I saw this. Is very funny.
Accurate.
I'm just not going to speak to a private diplomatic conversation, Arshad, but I'm obviously speaking to the content of the reports. You may know the story of how she lived on a Russian boat for about 8 months when she was 23, and she learned how to perfect perhaps certain words in a couple of languages. So perhaps it speaks to that more than a pervasive viewpoint.
You're not suggesting that she has a predisposition against Russia.
No, I was suggesting that she learned Russian curse words on the fishing boat.
This was in English.
I was making a joke about her learning curse words on a fishing boat.
Okay, all right. Memo to Department of State. We'll do the jokes.
Unbelievable.
I did
but
hear
I like
that.
the one woman who took it out of context. Does this mean she hates the Russians?
It's beautiful.
The media at work.
It's beautiful. Hey, meanwhile, how about all those athletes protesting about the gays, huh?
Yeah,
exactly. Nothing happening. Let's close this segment out.
While I'm driving off laughing, this is what I'll say.
Fuck the EU. Fuck the EU. Fuck the EU. Fuck the EU.
No, exactly.
Fuck the EU.
God, I love that. That's one of our better ones. That's an evergreen.
It's a gem.
It really is. It really is nice. Dozens of gay protesters were arrested, John, 2 days ago in Idaho.
I have to play this clip. This is from the Gay News because Andy Hump got a copy of the thing. He looked like he was on the show.
Andy, wait. What did you just say? Andy Hump got a copy of the thing. What is this? What are you talking
about?
Our white paper. Our white paper. Oh.
And he would never respond to it, but he looked perplexed because they were doing their, like your Obama bots. You have a perspective and you stick with it and screw the facts.
Yeah, who cares?
And he just didn't seem himself. But I have to play. This is the clip that they were discussing. Some company got mad and they pulled out of their sponsorship and some nobodies. I don't even remember who they were, and I don't have the clip of their name. But he does have another. He mentions another major protest, which I will then describe for you because a picture was flashed on the screen.
IOC sponsors, or the major Olympic sponsors, they're the first major corporation to condemn the anti-gay laws in Russia. The first. You'd think by now someone else in the corporation would have condemned these laws. Also condemning it, second corporation, DeVry University, which you see advertising on TV and you think is cheesy, but in fact many Olympic athletes are students of DeVry University.
So there was a protest against all this in London. We have a picture of it.
Very creative.
They did Swan Lake outside the Russian embassy there in protest of the Sochi Olympics and the anti-gay laws in Russia. Also out of London, the UK Observer is calling for same-sex kissing from the podium in Sochi and the waving of rainbow flags.
Yeah. And the British government announced.
Yeah. This is not going to happen, people.
No, and it's actually ludicrous. Now that they did this protest in front of the Russian embassy in London, 4 people.
Swan Lake with 4 people?
4 people dressed in blue tights and tutus.
Yeah.
With stuff written across their chest, and they were dancing around, these 4 people, and this is newsworthy. So no, this is all. This is a fail, in my opinion.
Well, it's a fail, but I think it's wildly successful. But Brian
here,
yeah, well, yes, here, Brian, the gay crusader. So this is his first real journey into the world that we live in every single day. And he sends me a story an hour. Apparently, Grindr. You ever heard of Grindr? The app Grindr. Grindr.
Oh, right. Grindr is the gay,
the gay app,
Match.com.
Gay hookup app.
Yeah, hookup app.
And it's it uses geolocation and unreliability informed.
Right, it's for stalkers. This is never a heterosexual version of this has never appeared because it would be probably illegal.
Yeah. But for the gay guys, I hear it's very very popular. And there's a version of this in Russia, and the Daily Mail wrote this whole article. It's totally bogative, of course. If you use this app in Russia, it pops up and says you can be arrested because you're propagating gay propaganda. Section 6 with a K, by the way. They even misspelled it. And so they have all these screenshots. There's a story a day here in the United States, and everybody is just so all in. And I've given up. I'm not going to tell anybody what I think. I'd forget
I gave up right away.
Yeah, well, I still had, me, I'm an idealist, John.
You can pass the thing around. I think this little paper, and
that's the best thing. And if people read it, great. We did get a nice email back from the 2 Yale professors who had written an op-ed in the Washington Post saying, hey, do you know how bad it is in America? Are you crazy? And it was almost like they had read the white paper. They hadn't. Brian sent it to them, and they were like, oh, crap, this is great. They're not going to follow it up because, they got tenure. They don't want to ruin their careers.
No
one wants to do. This is the only reason why we can do this. We are the only people who can do this. And then Pussy Riot, this is funny. Pussy Riot did a show with Madonna at Amnesty International, which of course is State Department run and funded. So they're all in it. Let's all hate Russia. And this is the liberated duo, but the rest of the band has disowned them. They said these kids, they're not even allowed to use the name Pussy Riot. They're not real. They've been hijacked.
I didn't know this.
Yeah. Let me see if it's in the show notes. It's pretty funny. Funny. Okay, 6 members of Russian punk rock collective Pussy Riot have signed an open letter insisting Maria Alyokhina and Nadezhda Tolkonovia not be billed as members. It said the 2 had forgotten about the aspirations and ideals of our group. The pair performed alongside Madonna at a concert in New York on Wednesday. Of course, Madonna's always there. And she means well, but she's misguided. These 2 were jailed for 2 years after singing a protest song in Moscow, known as Masha and Nadia. The 6 members of the collective who signed the letter, and all their names, they say their group belonged to a leftist anti-capitalist ideology, but the pair had become institutionalized advocates of prisoners' rights. Unfortunately for us, they are being so carried away with the problems in Russian prisons, they completely forgot about the aspirations and ideals of our group: feminism, separatist resistance, fight against authoritarianism, and moratorianism.
Can't say it either.
Personality cult, all of which, as a matter of fact, was the cause for their unjust punishment. And they're saying, hey, we don't. Our performances are always illegal, staged only in unpredictable locations. We would never do a set-up thing billed as here's Pussy Riot. Right on, girls. Absolutely. This is a legal performance. Yeah. So they've been disowned. They're not even Pussy Riot.
Well, the thing is, though, you have to say they've got the taste of prison, and then they saw the injustices, and now they're actually doing something that's not just a general bull crap, political statement. We're against it. They're actually focusing now, which I think is probably a positive thing for those two women.
Okay.
I think it's better. I think you're better off if you're one of these types, these activists, to find a problem and focus on it and do something about it rather than just bitch.
Yeah, that's true. So anyway, so for me, the games are ruined. If there's too much terrorism
they just
talk,
started.
No, too much terrorism talk. Widows 2.0, Black Widows 2.0.
Yeah.
We're all gonna blow up. It's just gay this, gay that. By the way, did you catch the opening song? And this I thought was the funniest. When they opened the ceremony, the song was by a group called Tattoo. Are you familiar with Tattoo?
No.
Google TATU. In 2000, they had a huge hit, and they're not really lesbians, but they portray lesbians in their video clip. They're Russian lesbians. This is like the ultimate FU. Like, hey West, here's our lesbian song.
Oh yeah, they look like pretend lesbians.
Right, but I thought that was cool.
Well, the other thing is they had in the second half where they had the really spectacular showing after they marched all these athletes out. They had just an outrageously gay ballet that they presented. I don't remember which ballet it was, but there was this one ballerina and she was flirting with these two guys, a fat guy and a soldier, and then the fat guy and the soldier were going to get together. They looked like they were going to become gay lovers, and then she broke them up. And then there was a third guy who looked like a guy from the YMCA group, Village People, and he was in there. And now they were having these guys. There was three guys and a girl. It looked like some sort of a sexual thing, and it was just all. It was just, and nobody, of course, they know.
Can I make a suggestion? Can I make a suggestion? Get out of the house a little more. Really, I don't know what you're seeing in all of this. I'm
telling you, I actually have it. I kept it on the DVR because I knew you'd say something like that. I'm going to send it to you on a DVD, and I want you to tell me I'm wrong about this.
Okay.
This was a homoerotic ballet.
Hello, it's ballet. Ballet is, by definition, homoerotic.
Well, this was over the top.
And it's beautiful. Although I find the ballet, sometimes, I can do Broadway musicals, no problem. Ballet gets a little old for me. It's a parody, and I like the athleticism of it all, but I look at those guys' pants, I'm like, why am I sitting here? I'm inferior.
Inferior.
Completely inferior. I'm a loser.
They're using socks.
No, that's not true. No.
Well, those guys work out a lot.
Yeah, that should be it. And I don't work out at all. I'm on that bike all the time trying to, come on, grow. I see we both got the, my clip is titled Sarajevo. Your clip is called Bosnia is Next. Let me see. I'll play yours first.
Mine's just a short clip.
Those are the headlines this hour here on France 24. I'm Shona Bhattacharya. Thanks for joining us. Protesters fought with riot police in Bosnia's major cities in the third straight day of unrest. Large crowds set fire to government buildings, including the presidential palace. Around 145 people were injured, more than half of them policemen.
I'll play mine. Hold on.
The situation at the moment in Sarajevo is pretty tense, especially in the city center. The entrance and some parts of the presidency, the famous presidency building, are on fire. Every single police vehicle in around has been also burned down, and the looting and robbering is taking place in the center of Sarajevo, including the very popular shopping mall in the heart of the town. To my mind, there are two major reasons for these protests. This is the poverty and injustice. Bosnia has more than 40% of unemployment rate, and it's the number one for the corruption in Europe. The people are very unsatisfied with it, and they are demanding changes, demanding law to take place.
Yeah, rubblization, I think, is
and
in
then
play.
When they set the White House on fire,
yeah,
something's up.
Yeah. So that's
rubblization.
Rubblization.
It's probably needed.
of Bosnia. They just got done being rubbleized.
Well, they weren't rubbleized enough.
It's very, very sad.
And we can bring our guys in there to rebuild the thing so it looks like another Bechtel operation. You know, these modern cities that we're putting up here and there, like before the Chinese do, I guess.
Based on our previous conversation about heroin and fentanyl and Narcan, we received a couple of emails, which I think will be kind of interesting to go through. It's kind of off the news, but once the Olympics are over, then we'll get back. I guess Hoffman, we got the Academy Awards coming up, so it'll be talked about again.
Oh, yeah, they'll have a big tribute to him.
So here's one of our producers. He says, most people I know that are addicted, and as it turns out, we have a fair amount of people who have had or are having their experiences with all kinds of narcotics, legal and illegal, and also Narcan. But this particular producer says, most people I know that are addicted had their first exposure to opiates at the dentist. Vicodin is the number one prescribed drug in the country. Generic name, hydrocodone. They get you hooked. If you want to get clean, you have to get addicted to another drug like Suboxone or methadone. And he goes on to say, doctor's just a business like everybody else. Just gotta keep pushing it all the way through. And I found that to be interesting that Vicodin would be the gateway drug.
Yeah, don't you think so?
I've had Vicodin.
If you take a pill once in a while, something.
But I literally got it from the dentist, which is kind of funny. But I didn't get hooked on it or anything. But here's the story that turned me on the most, and I was, of course, part of my thesis is that perhaps we are poisoning the heroin supply to get people back to the expensive pharmaceuticals. It turns out, in 1926, the United States government poisoned alcohol, which resulted in 30,000 people dying, I think, in like a month, to get people off of the illegal stuff and prepared for, to get them out of the speakeasies and to prepare them to either, I guess when the 21st Amendment was passed. When was that passed? That was, I don't know exactly.
It was after World War I, I think.
Yeah, well, both. Yeah, both. But this article very clearly, because of course there was a lot of denaturing of alcohol, so people couldn't just take, there was alcohol around, but the government and states, of course, would poison it, but denature it so that it wouldn't really be tasty or drinkable at all. But this article very clearly lays out how the government was complicit in actually poisoning alcohol to get people to not use the illegal product, which I didn't know they had done.
I didn't know that till right now, but it doesn't surprise me. This is classic government looking out for you. Let's poison the public.
Of course.
Maybe that'll help our cause.
In the 70s, the government sprayed the Mexican marijuana fields with paraquat.
Right, which is toxic.
Mm-hmm.
Paraquat is interesting. When I was worked at the as an air pollution inspector, I had the Standard Oil Chevron chemicals made paraquat, and the stuff was just, I don't even know if they make it anymore. The stuff was, unfortunately, it was a nasty product because it had the consistency looked like Coca-Cola. And every year, the number of people died because they saw it in a bottle or something and they thought it was Coke. And just one little sip of it and you're done. Anyway, onward.
Yeah, so I thought that was interesting to note that is not foreign for our government to poison the supply to get people off of it. And I was watching the McLaughlin Group, and normally Eleanor is a total twat. She had, and I don't have a clip of her because she was just so good it wasn't even funny. She had it everything. She had it down. She's like, people are getting hooked on the prescription drugs. They either the doctor takes them off or whatever. It's just cheaper for them to go to heroin. She had it completely down. She knew exactly what was going on. Pat Buchanan, on the other hand, is either he's a total moron, possible, or he's lying purposely.
Outlawing heroin will at least save some people from taking one. It ain't going to save them all, I agree.
You wouldn't necessarily, you would probably not know this, but the UN has been sounding the alarm about increased opium production in Afghanistan. But the White House did not connect the dots.
Oh, forget the UN, for heaven's sakes. Everybody knows that, frankly, you know who finished off the drug business in Afghanistan? The Taliban outlawed it and burned up all those fields and everything.
Yes, and
now they're back.
The population, and they decided now they embrace the poppy fields.
Does he really think that's true?
I don't know what he thinks. The guy's unbelievable. He ran for president. That's
well, okay, then yes, he must believe it, because that's about the level of the intelligence of our presidents.
Yeah.
Anyway, so just to finalize my addiction segment here, I have been searching for some backup to my thesis that Facebook is a gateway drug. And I have found a Harvard study, very interesting, who did MRI scans. And they did MRI scans of people a lot of it's about the anticipation, by the way, of getting a notification that someone has commented on your thing or your like. But the MRI scans of patients waiting for Facebook feedback and playing a slot machine and those using cocaine look exactly the same.
That makes sense.
Self-disclosure.
And the people who are Facebook addicts seem to have an addictive personality to begin with.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any. I have no research on that yet. But I did get this. This is from the. Also from. Is this the MIT? No, this is the Harvard study. Self-disclosure is strongly associated. Self-disclosure. This is what you do on Facebook. Self-disclosure. Strongly associated with increased activation in brain regions that form the mesolimbic dopamine system, including the nucleus accumbens and ventral tegmental area. People were even willing to forego money to disclose about themselves. So my thesis, and I think what's kind of interesting, if you have a friend or a family member who uses Facebook and they're on it a lot, look over their shoulder. They just say, hey, can I just watch while you scroll through your news feed and observe what they're doing? Because what you will see is that nothing you will see there is of any interest to you. Zero. No, they will, and I'm convinced if they do, if I were to do it on, and if I was doing Facebook and someone else would look who's a Facebook addict, they would find nothing of interest because it's not about actually what you're reading. It is 80% about affirmation, being made to feel good because you have a lousy life and you're depressed and the Olympics suck and you have a vasectomy, whatever the problem is, and it's a lot more these days. Facebook is a drug. It functions like a drug where you post something about yourself, which is always a lie. Amazing cupcake. Beautiful sunrise.
I love this analysis of yours up for this, by the way. Nothing is funnier.
I really believe
I know you're dead serious. That's why it's so good, because everything you say is accurate.
And I was going to say,
I don't use Facebook, but I know people who do. I said it before, and yeah, this all makes nothing but sense to me, which is probably one of the reasons I dislike it so much.
Me too, and because I have. And Twitter is not the same, by the way. It is not the same because the first thing you do is you collect your friends, right? This is not really broadcasting. This is because if you do something on Twitter, you get a retweet, woohoo, big whoop. But you want your friends and your family and your distant friends who are you can't have more than 5,000, and by the way you rank them. It's like you have. Acquaintances, acquaintances, so you'll see their stuff more often. And I think this is why Google Plus is not working. Because you need this, the plus one, they tried to do that, but they've messed up the whole friend thing with the circles. That's where Google Plus, they didn't understand. And I think Zuckerberg is a genius. If you've never seen the movie or heard the history, they started
I agree with this theory too.
They started this thing out, making it with algorithms. If you saw the movie, it drew the algorithm on the window so that you would see people that you would be attracted to. would be interested in. And so they're very, very smart, and they made this crack, this drug. It's like Snow Crash. It really is, excuse me, that's something in my throat. It truly is built to trigger your mechanism, trigger your brain. I'm very curious how Paper is going to work, which is their new app. I haven't played with it at all, because it looks like that is much more of a consumption versus what is really the drug. And that is the post something about your lousy, miserable life. If you have nothing to say, then you can always post one of those pictures, a kitten, or some joke, or a link to something unbelievable. This is crazy. So that people will then reshare it and like it. And I know a lot of people, and friends on Facebook, very, very smart people. And I can see they're depressed. They are depressed, and they need the feedback loop. It's a necessity, and it's very, very unhealthy in my opinion. Very, very unhealthy, and particularly if, like most teens, you like drinking energy drinks. Add some Red Bull to that. You're hyping, your whole body is up, just going nuts, and you get this, this little, I got a like, I got a comment. And by the way, likes, and you can, John, maybe you can observe this if you know anyone who has Facebook. So people will scroll through their timeline, and when they really can't be bothered to make a comment or, but they really do want that person to like them later, you click like. I got to click like, otherwise he won't like my stuff.
Yeah, no, the whole like thing I think is somewhat nauseating. Like us on Facebook. And the other thing, I've said it before, I'll say it again because I like saying it, which is I hate any website or initiative or software that says sign in using Facebook. And I've run into ones that won't let you sign in using anything. You have to have Facebook. Bull crap.
Yeah, this happens a lot. Other apps that you can't, but that's because
why would another app want you to do that? It makes no sense.
Yeah, it does. Because when you do that,
makes no sense to me.
Then you need to do a little research in the development program. If you do that, you get all this information about these people because you get to have all all the things they've posted, their movies, their preferences, their sexual preferences, their status, their school, their friends information. You should look it up. If you use the Facebook login and you're in the developer program, you get so much info. Tons of it. And that's why they do it, man. And yeah, sure, there's some ease of use, but really it's all about just getting information so that you can, satisfy your venture capital investors.
You're telling me that when I'm on some site that's sign in on Facebook, they want me to sign in on Facebook so they can further exploit me or get book on me or figure out what,
yes. Let me ask you.
Screw them.
Let's look at the equation differently. You're getting a free thing that someone developed, someone put money into, probably venture capital or angel investors. They really want to be purchased by Facebook because that's the only way out these days. Yeah, you're getting a free shiny trinket.
I'm getting free nothing. It's always pay somehow.
Exactly.
This free thing doesn't work.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh yeah, that'd be fab.
Yeah, on No Agenda in the morning.
Yeah, you're right. It does not work very well.
Well, what works is that if you have people like our great producers who come in and help us finance the show by becoming producers, then it works that way, but then it's not free, and it shouldn't be.
No, it's value for value.
James Rockel we'll start with out of Waterloo, Ontario, 12345.
Wait a minute, where?
He sent us a note. He said,
funny, I have a different name here.
You don't have James Rockel?
No.
Right under Michael Miller, number 11 on the spreadsheet?
No, I have completely different names.
You sure you got the right spreadsheet? Oh, wait, maybe I got the wrong spreadsheet.
I think you have the wrong spreadsheet, darling.
Darling.
Number 9.
What show are we on? Oh, yeah, I do. Somehow last week's spreadsheet opened.
Bastards.
Oh, I see. Okay, I got it. I know what happened.
Oh, I'm glad someone's paying attention to the show.
But I wonder I couldn't find. I'm looking for some guy's name to X out because he doesn't want his name revealed, and I have to be careful. Okay, you're talking about David Bever.
Yes.
But his also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I know. That's what threw me for a moment there.
Yeah. I want to see what he does have a note. We're not going to read these notes, but this one, Statler and Waldorf, took me months to get that bingo list work out, and here I am already hit it a second time. This is a true reason for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 donation. Huh. I'm not getting what he's talking about. Sebastian Alscher, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of Frankfurt, Germany. And he wants, I think go click on clinton-divorce.com.
Yeah, okay. I know we have this. We have different permutations now. Yes.
What is it? What's the joke?
We have clintondivorce.com and now clinton-divorce.com. Well, I'm sure it just forwards to No Agenda Show, doesn't it?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can check it.
Don't forget Obama divorce coming up.
Oh, wait a minute. That's the one we had. Hold on a second. You're right. Clinton-divorce.com. I'll just check it. Let me see if it goes to No Agenda Show. So we have Clinton and Obama divorce.
Good. Jason Doolin in Lost Wages, Nevada, 12333. Carrie Rosenbarker, 12333 in Endwell, New York. Did I do something about 12333? Because C Squared Productions came in with 12333. And then this is the one guy that suggested, I think it was the C Squared guy.
Yeah.
Michael Como in Cold Spring Harbor, New York, 12333. Okay, and he makes a note. He's going to have his birthday call out. It's 1, 2, triple three.
Hello, it's the executive order 1, 2, triple three.
Oh, yes.
First of all, you showed up without your keyboard. You came to the class without your keyboard. You have the wrong homework. Very disappointed in you. I think we need a parent-teacher night.
Okay. But Mommy never shows up. She's too busy drinking.
I fell down the stairs. God.
I fell down the stairs because Mommy was drinking. Ryan Spletzer in Midland, Michigan, 11111. And does he got anyone coming to the stage here?
I think
Not today, but I don't see it. He's got nobody. He loves our gay analysis.
Brian the Gay Crusader.
With the great gay crusader.
Oh, he said he hit his dad in the mouth. It's kind of nice. So I hit my dad in the mouth when he started regurgitating the media's droning message about Russia's anti-gay laws.
By the way, since when do we give a shit about Russia's laws of gay, pro-gay, anti-gay? It's very agenda-like.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well,
Robert Love,
it's fun. You know, it's a reason for straight guys to go learn about gays. I'm telling you, there's something to that.
$111 from Robert Love in Orlando, Florida. James Scherer in Spearfish, South Dakota, landlocked state with a city named Spearfish.
Yeah.
$100. Woods, $100 from Westbury, New York. Stephen Vanderhaven, he did send a note, which by mail. I do have to read this because I have a commentary here. The note doesn't really say much. Just thanks for your courage. I enjoyed the past episodes about Common Core and the Chiners rail scheme. And he went on. But here's what happened. So I want to tell this to all the knights, and this is Sir Stephen. Count the money. This is Count the Money.
Oh, Count the Money. Yes.
Yeah, Count the Money. So instead of getting some sealing wax to do the seal with the ring, which you have to have sealing wax. You have to go to a stationery store. You have to go to noagendashow.com.
Well, you do get sealing wax with your night ring.
Yes, you do, and you use it up if you use it much.
Yeah.
But Eric at noagendanation.com, he sells it. But you can get it all over the place. Instead...
Is he doing refills? Is that what he's doing?
Yeah. So instead... Count the Money here used apparently his wife's strawberry scented
lipstick
paraffin candle.
Oh. Yeah, how'd that work out?
Not the same. And so there's a gob of goo, and because paraffin is just an oil-based product, it just the whole envelope
messy
of strawberries. It stunk up the house.
And
it was all greasy.
And your mail carriers are angry.
because it soaks into the paper.
Yes.
So you get this gob of grease. There's no evidence that this was ever done. It worked out at all. Don't do that.
And that's all. That's the note? Is you bitching about it?
My note to the knights out there.
All right.
Like to use the sealing wax.
All right. Go buy some from Eric.
Sir J.D. at 7747 in San Jose, California.
Is there a 7-7 for year 7?
Yeah.
But we're in. Yeah, I guess we're in year 7. That's true.
That's a good one.
Are we we're in year 7.
What's the 4-7 mean?
7747.
7747.
7-7 for year 4-7.
Yes,
oh.
I get it. Not like the 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, which I don't get. I'm going to add these to the
donation page.
It's a great one, I have to say.
69, dudes.
Gray starts this off from Grand Blanc.
Say his name again, because I see you just stepped on it.
Yeah.
Christopher Gray.
Christopher Gray. Grand Blanc, Michigan. Sir Pate Schnakes. Amsterdam. Richard Chow, Fullerton, California. Jason. Good old plain Jason. In Wanaki, Wisconsin.
He says, I requested job karma this summer, and it worked. Now I need a little relationship karma. Thanks, Jason from Madison, Wisconsin, home of the Noodle Kid. Yeah, we'll give you some, everyone some karma at the end there, for sure.
CSS, Computer Solutions and Services.
69, dudes.
That's it.
The list.
That's it.
Ben Blessing, $69 from parts unknown. Kristan Smith, Blyton, Lincolnshire, UK, 60.
And
Brandon
hold on.
Fenton in
Kristen
Colorado
says,
Springs, 59.
Kristen says, my 13-year-old daughter has started listening to the show, which makes me a very proud father.
Well, good for her.
Indeed.
If you just tell us her name, we could give a call out.
Yeah.
Brandon Fenton. Did I just do that? No, Brandon Fenton in Colorado Springs. Okay, we'll do him again.
Yeah.
Radu Partuk in Grosse Ile, Michigan, 5555. We'll give karma to everybody. Olaf Wolf in Munich, Deutschland.
München.
Dean Warnecki, 5549 from Columbus, Ohio. Gary Owens in Lost Wages, Nevada. Double nickels on the dime. That's a dying one. Mac Tank, 5432 in La Jolla, California. Aaron Magafin.
He says 5432. Hi, gents. 5432. Awesome. I thought this might make a good, awesome donation amount. Karma for the show, hosts and listeners. Outstanding.
A drama queen, Mac Tank.
5432. Awesome. Or
Aaron Magafin, as we said, Woodstock, Ontario, 5160-56. Mark Kudrowski in Hugo, Minnesota, nuts, 5069. And also 5069 from Kathleen Stokes in Woburn, Massachusetts, nuts. 2 nuts in a row. Dennis Price in Pine Grove, California, 50. These are all 50s. David Pete, LLC, Aubrey, Texas. Daniel Sands in Kirkland, Washington. Maxime Berube in Fort McMurray, Alberta, Canada, where all the money is.
Hold on a second. What is this note here? I've been listening to your show for a while. It's my first donation. Hesitated a long time being a Christian. I wondered if it was wrong to donate to you because of your stance on homosexuality and your non-belief in Christ. Just being honest. But I thought that I should give you a little something for the information you provide along with the pleasure I have listening to your show in spite of our differences of opinions on these matters. I'm sure you understand the reason homosexuality and sexual diversity is promoted by the elites is simply to undermine society, and they being Satanists, you would expect them to demonize Christianity as they do. But I tell you what, when you become a born-again Christian, Adam, I will donate $50 every month. I hope this message doesn't upset you, but these values are truly important to me. Adam, whatever you do, do not become a Satanist. Cheers from Alberta, where the money is. Max.
I sent a note to him telling, and quoted some
scripture?
Some biblical citations against this sort of judgment. But that's another story. And neither one of us are going to become born again anything. And so
for $50 a month, I'll consider it.
Well, if you want to go that way, there's plenty of places in Texas that'll dunk you in the tank. Plenty. And, $50 a month, it adds up.
Sir James of Norway.
In Rystad, Norway, to be $50. And finally, last two, John Virtue in Newport Beach, California, and David Cox in Ione, Washington. I didn't even know there was a town by that name up there. $50. I want to thank them and everybody else who helped us on the show, which is show 590. And remember to go to Dvorak.org/NA. And we do have some general purpose karma coming for all of you.
You've got karma.
That's right, everybody. And thank you, Sir James of Norway, for your drunk donation. He says, yippee, more kittens, please. Absolutely.
Dvorak.org/NA. It's your birthday. Oh no,
somehow we messed up a very belated birthday to Black Knight George van der Horst, Black Knight of Bouncing Hill. He celebrated on January 23rd. Sorry about that, Sir George, and hope your health is doing better. Owen McGinty says happy birthday to Janice. She turned 40 on February 7th. And Michael Como says happy birthday to his smoking hot wife, Rianne. She'll be celebrating tomorrow. Happy birthday from all your buddies here at the best podcast in the universe.
It's your birthday, yeah.
No nightings, nothing. Nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, we're running low on nights. We do have an upgrade. They have the Baronet second night up there.
No, that's true. Uh-oh.
Attention all human resources. No entry. Second half of show.
Second half of show, John. Second half of show.
Second half?
Second half of show, John. Second half of show. The year? I need some echo. Hold on. 2, 1, 2. The year was 1947. Some of you will recall that on July 8th, 1947, a little more than 66 years ago, numerous witnesses claimed that an unidentified flying object with 5 aliens aboard crashed onto a sheep and mule ranch just outside of Roswell, New Mexico. You recall this, John?
Oh, yeah.
This is a well-known incident that many say has long been covered up by the U.S. Air Force, as well as other federal agencies and organizations. What you do not know is that in the month of April, the year 1948, 9 months after the historic day, the following people were born. Albert A. Gore Jr., Hillary Rodham Clinton, William J. Clinton, John F. Kerry, Howard Dean, Nancy Pelosi, Dianne Feinstein, Charles E. Schumer, Barbara Boxer, Joe Biden, and Barack Obama Jr. Senior, sorry. This is the
what are
obvious.
You implying?
Well, the obvious consequence of aliens breeding with sheep and jackasses, of course.
In the morning.
Way, and I walked right into it.
Yay, baby! I nailed it! Woohoo!
Now entering second half of show.
And I almost flubbed the line too.
I got a book for people to read. Just finished. It's another one of these alternative histories. Essentially, this is probably, I think, the definitive book about Roswell. At least insofar as it ranks the highest in both controversial for the government side of the equation and the flying saucer people side.
my side, yes.
I recommend everybody read this book. It's quite entertaining. It's called The Day After Roswell by Colonel Philip J. Corso. And I did a bunch of research on Corso, including reading a bunch of papers that were apparently released from the Freedom of Information Act by the FBI that have since been suppressed, but they're available if you just dig around long enough. And the guy he's definitely got the creds that make him a credible, even though and the people that criticize him and this book seem to be sketchy. And so I would say that if you want to read about, flying saucers, alien technology, a couple of things he says in there. And again, I'm not completely buying into it because it's written with a fictional sound base. The voice is fictional, or it seems fictional, even though it's not supposed to be. He claims, among other things, that once the Roswell wreck, which was a flying wing, was grabbed and hauled out of town on the back of a flatbed truck. They took a bunch of alien technologies out of it, which developed into the transistor, integrated circuits, the laser, and a number of other things that pulse beam weaponry, and another number of other things that actually make get fairly close to making no sense in the way things work with science, because it came out of the blue with a few of these things.
Oh, yeah.
And this is a very funny book to read because it's long, or it seems long.
I'll read this. I'll put it in the show notes.
You will like the book. It's
I'm sure
very
I will.
interesting. It's matter of fact. It's just like, yeah, these things have landed. We've been using these technologies that we steal from these guys. We're under attack. You'll love the book because it talks about
me,
Curry, will like this book because you bring up these wars in space. He claims that the Strategic Defense Initiative, Star Wars, and all the rest of this that was put in play was specifically to bring down alien saucers that if they ever invade.
It's time to invade. Get the old geezers first.
It's a book everyone should read. I'm not saying it's the, but there's a number of interesting.
We'll put it on the list. Yeah, we'll put it on the list.
A couple of little side notes.
You know me, I'm all in.
Yeah, I know you're all in.
Hey,
there's a couple of things that I personally know that kind of like make you wonder about what he's claiming. And it's hard to find this stuff out. There used to be Northrop, the guy who invented the American flying wing, was told to stand down and stop all flying wing production shortly after this crash occurred.
Coincidence?
By Strom Thurmond,
Coincidence?
wrote the foreword for this book.
Read the book.
And the other thing is Shockley, the inventor of one of the inventors of the transistor. George Morrow used to be a famous computer guy until he died, and came out with a bunch of in the 80s mostly. And he worked at Shockley Labs in Silicon Valley. And the people working there, because Shockley never did much of anything in terms of new designs or ideas, they all wonder where he got the idea for the transistor, because there was no evidence that he could have done this in the first place. And so this book is and I don't know how Corso got away with writing this book, but apparently he was read in so early in the game in the 40s that he never had to sign all these, we'll shoot you if you say anything documents. A very good book. Good book.
Wow, that's quite an endorsement.
And I'm not buying it necessarily, but I have to say, in terms of an alternative explanation for a lot of things, the book is great because it covers, you'll see.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be impressed. Anyway, Day After Roswell, it's as cheap as $1.19 in Valor Books. But, I put it on the Kindle. It's a very fast read on the Kindle. The Paperwhite. I love that Paperwhite.
I know you do. Hey, if this ever happens to me, do not accept this news report. Founder and CEO of American Title Services in Centennial, Colorado, was found dead in his home this week. The result of self-inflicted wounds from a nail gun. John, if they ever find me...
nails to the head.
He actually had 7 nails to the head. 7 nails to the head. And they're calling it suicide.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, I love that kind of thing.
Please, if you hear this, 7 or 8, they couldn't even count. Self-inflicted wounds from a nail gun fired into his torso and head. Yeah, that sounds like the way to go, doesn't it? I know what I'll do. I'll shoot some nails in my torso and then in my head. This is. Please do not allow that to be ruled a suicide. And I want a full title screen on the dead segment. Damn it.
Okay. We got a flu report.
Oh, hold on a second. Do we need
I set it up with it like we actually have less flu deaths than you would have in a normal cycle? But no.
Should we do the jingle?
I just want to mention, by the way, I'm going to say it again. I've said it before. I'll say it again. The swine flu vaccine, when it first came out, everybody was lined up around the blocks to get it. You'd think the entire society would be immune to this disease.
Can I do the jingle?
Yes, please. I'm sorry.
It's the No Agenda Swine Flu Minute.
We got a lot of mileage out of that jingle.
And this comes as statewide deaths from the flu hit 202 yesterday. The Monterey and Santa Cruz County Health Departments say they have plenty of flu shots to go around, but they order them from manufacturers and could run out temporarily. Another free flu shot clinic right around the corner, this time at Salinas Valley Memorial Healthcare Hospital. It's happening on Saturday, February 22nd. The clinic will be set up in the parking lot from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. Anyone from the Tri-County area can be vaccinated.
Let's go to the parking lot.
Get your free shots, slaves. Come on, it's good for you. Get your free shots. Free shots over here.
In the parking lot. You know what I'm reminded of? I did first time when I visualized a bunch of people standing around a parking lot to get a shot. When lobotomies were first invented, and I think this was in the 20s. It could be the 30s. I think it was probably the 20s. It became a very popular method for calming down the hysterical. A lot of women.
You just lobotomy. You
get a lobotomy.
Drill in the head and pull out a little bit of brain matter.
You don't have to even do that. Oh. Apparently, they used to do lobotomies in Central Park the same way they're doing these shots in the parking lot. People would line up. There'd be a doctor there, and he'd have a long needle.
Wait a minute. People would go to the park for this?
Yeah.
No.
It was very popular for a short period of time.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Wow.
And the guy had this very long, very crazy kind of a needle. And what he'd do, because this is why it was no big deal, they would take one, I think your left eye and open it up, put the needle in behind the eyeball, and really, seriously, go to a spot in the brain and then nick like the connective tissue between the frontal lobes and the rest of the brain, and then you'd go home. That was because these were very popular for a while. And then they started noticing it wasn't working out, but it would calm down the wife.
I always thought that's how the vibrator was invented. That the woman would be hysterical. In fact, they called it hysterics. And they'd send her to the doctor, and he said, "Oh, well, what you need is you need the orgasmatron." And the doctor had the first vibrators, and it would essentially. That's why you have all these movies back in the day when the handsome doctor, and they all were in love with the doctor because he basically had this big jackhammer, and the women. Yeah, if you look up the history of the vibrator, you'll see exactly this. Because women were hysterical because they just needed an orgasm.
Well,
now this guy could do twofer in the park. Hey, baby, open your eye and your legs.
It's a lot of weird stuff that goes on.
And you know what?
We're
Maybe
here to keep people from getting involved.
Thank you. And in 80 years from now, people might be saying, "Can you believe those idiots? They went into the park and got shot up with some kind of goop."
So Bill Maher is a douchebag.
Okay, fact. Hold on a second. Do we have it? I think we yes, we do. Well, we have it right here.
Facts. On the best podcast in the universe.
Okay. All right, I'm ready.
All right, so Bill Maher goes on a rant against, again, it's an ageist rant. And by the way, and they had S.E. Cupp.
Oh. She's the token right winger on MSNBC.
She thought this was hilarious. Everything you're about to hear and listen to, the laugh was more. She was just thinking, Maher is so funny. Let's make fun of old people and bitch about the fact that they get Social Security, which to me is peculiar because as a liberal that
you're all about liberal, that, yeah.
They're all for Social Security, it seems to me, but not when it comes to old people because they should all just starve to death in the streets, apparently. So let's just play a series of clips giving you some insight into this guy's something's wrong with him. The first one.
And finally, new rule in the battle for government giveaways. We have to stop thinking in terms of rich versus poor or black versus white and admit it's really a war between the young and the old are winning. When it comes to meeting the needs of our seniors, money is no object. In America, we talk a lot about entitlements and who are the takers and who are the makers. And here's the bottom line from the current issue of Harper's. Federal yearly spending per child, $3,822. Federal yearly spending per senior, 25 grand $455.
Douchebag.
Seniors keep asking, what kind of world are we leaving for our grandkids? Well, one where Head Start, nutrition assistance, and child welfare are being cut. These days, when Grandpa finds a quarter behind your ear, he keeps it.
Now, of course, the granddad, the old lady we're talking about here, has to pay for utilities and rent and housing and food.
Groceries.
The kid, how are you comparing it to some child that's being raised by parents? Are you saying that the kid should get $25,000 and the oldster should just get nothing?
Yeah.
And let them move in with the kid and the sons and daughters? I mean, what is he trying to say here?
Well, it's also just comedy, John. I mean,
It's very serious for comedy. Play part 2.
That was part 2. You mean part 3?
Yeah, part 3.
But let's not kid ourselves where our tax dollar goes. It goes to Grandma because she votes and young people don't.
So this is his conclusion is that it's all about the vote. And that's the reason they should get nothing. He goes on and on. He makes jokes about the penal pump, Viagra, all the sex that's going on in the house. Apparently, there's another thing you run into with liberals: the idea that anyone over 60 has sex.
Oh, it's just weird.
Ooh, that's weird. Why would you have sex?
Like my parents having sex. Ooh, weird.
Yeah,
I can't think about it.
Very juvenile.
My grandparents, they were well into their 80s. I knew there was some hanky-panky still going on with them. And I thought that was beautiful.
Good for them.
Yeah.
And anyway, this finishes with Mar Part 4.
But here's what I don't understand. Why, if seniors are having all this government-subsidized fun, why are they the angriest people politically? And they are. 76% of seniors say they're, quote, dissatisfied with the way things are going in the country today. Why? You're getting all the money and half the pussy.
But polls... All right, that was funny.
That brought S.E. Cupp into hysterics. She just thought this whole thing was funny. He had a joke about Astroglide, as long as they don't mix it up with the Polydent. I mean, the materials there, but it's hateful. And it actually was Buzzkill Jr.'s watching this, and he says, you know what's interesting to him, and he's a Lacanian philosopher, basically. He says that generally speaking, the comedians of the world stem from the court jester. Yes. The court jester is a guy who within reason ridicules the king, ridicules the cardinal, ridicules the people
to entertain the elites.
Yes, but but the target is the powerful. It's always the powerful. You don't start targeting the people. You don't start targeting the elderly. You don't start targeting people that are usually helpless. What kind of a comic, and Bill Maher does this constantly, targets the people because they're idiot Republicans or because they're old and in the way, and he never targets the powerful. He's a pathetic example of what comedy has become with these liberals.
John C. Dvorak's pet peeve of the day.
Right on. Well, that's why I don't watch him.
Well, it's hard to watch. When he goes on these rants, I mean, I try to catch the new rules. He's got a couple of jokes in there, but then to watch S.E. Cupp all in.
Oh, why would you? Come on, man. Why would you do that when you have the President's Podcast? I mean, seriously. You want some entertainment? You want some quality programming, my friend? You go to the President's Podcast.
Yeah, hit me.
And there's a couple of memes in here that we just need to be aware of.
I want to work with Congress on this agenda wherever I can. But in this year of action, whenever I can take steps without legislation to expand opportunity for more American families, I will. I've got a pen and I've got a phone.
All right. There you go. That's our president. Putin is shooting bears.
The pen and
he's riding horseback with his bareback with his shirt off. Our president has a pen and a phone. Very, very sad.
Talking about the emasculization. I have two clips that are about Syria. Actually a couple of Syrian clips, but I have the two that I want to play back to back. One of them is Susan Powers.
This is our new ambassador to the United Nations. She did a little... they have a name for that thing. They call it a stakeout, I think. When she goes to the microphone at the United Nations.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's called this. Let me just check. If you go to video.state.gov, that's where I always I think I saw this. It's let me see. Yes, Security Council stakeout.
Well, I'm listening to her, and then there's this United Nations spokes guy who comes on sometime after her, and he's the number one guy under Ban Ki-moon. And I don't know, I can do this a lot of different ways, but I think it's just good to play them back to back because Powers has the masculine voice, and then you can hear what the guy sounds like.
I note regime statements this morning describing a willingness to evacuate innocents. Given that the regime up to this point has described just about anybody living in opposition territory as a terrorist and has attacked them as such, we have reason on the basis of history to be very skeptical and frankly very concerned about anybody who falls into regime hands.
Homs has been a city on the front.
Is that the one you wanted or not?
The one that said there is UN ambassador.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I had the wrong one. Hold on. I got it. Then
this is the guy. This is the male. Now, you heard the female with the male voice. Now you're going to hear the guy.
The United Nations and humanitarian partners had pre-positioned food, medical, and other basic supplies on the outskirts of Homs, ready for immediate delivery as soon as the green light was given by the parties for safe passage. Aid staff are also on standby.
Yeah. And then we have Jade Johnson, who was our brand new Secretary of Department of Homeland Security, who was interviewed by Jane Harman.
We know individuals from the U.S., Canada, and Europe are traveling to Syria to fight in the conflict. At the same time, extremists are actively trying to recruit Westerners, indoctrinate them, and see them return to their home countries with an extremist mission.
That's pretty alarming stuff when you think about the thousands of folks that have gone to Syria either to simply fight the Bashar al-Assad regime or to be trained.
Well, no question about it. And some of those folks, by the way, Syria is pretty close to Russia, might try to go...
Syria is pretty close to Russia. Should we look at the map for a moment? Jane Harman? She really means geographically, John. This woman is such a she was in Congress.
Syria is pretty close to Russia. Might try to go up through the Caucasus and attack at Sochi too.
The Caucasus is that's like 10,000 miles the other direction. How is she? Am I crazy? Am I missing something? Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong at all.
Syria's not at all near.
She's an idiot.
So Syria is the.
I'm trying to get the distance. I'll give you in a second.
Okay, and then but here's the quote. Here's the money quote.
Too. So Syria is the Afghanistan of 2014. It's a new training ground
the US can
for
do
a
about
global terror. Well, we're trying. Our intelligence services are pretty good. And we're trying to find out who these folks are, where they're going, and if we're good at tracking where they are, we will find them before they return and cause us harm.
We'll kill them. Kill them with a drone. How far is Syria from?
It's 1,500 miles.
No, that's not that. That's not that. I thought it was further than that.
It's still a 3-hour flight.
Yeah, these guys are on camels.
Yeah, it would take about a couple months.
But Syria is the new Afghanistan. This is very important because what she's saying is, I guess she's trying to tell us that terrorists come from Afghanistan, even though we know the terrorists were in Pakistan and, I know, Germany. That's where the terror cell was. And, they were Saudi Arabians. Okay. Turn off your television, people. Or turn it on when the president has a visitor. We had a visitor from a very highly ranked visitor at the White House. Sweet Mickey Martelly of Haiti. And you'd never guess.
How did he get here? on a car?
On the Poop Express.
Car with the pontoons?
On the Poop Express. Of course, to review, there are still approximately 150,000 people homeless.
No, that can't be. Because Clinton Bush guys. They took in billions and billions of dollars, and then people they phoned in for $10 a pop.
I know a lot of people want to send blankets or water. Just send your cash.
No, there's still 150,000 people.
No, these people should all be living in first-class accommodations by now.
150,000 people living in squalor, in tents where rape and sickness. Of course, the United Nations from the Blue Helmets came in and gave everybody cholera, and was pooping. That people are dying.
Yeah,
thousands.
And the United Nations refuses to pay a nickel.
Thousands of people dying.
Restitution.
And just horrible. Of course, we have the Bill Clinton suite at the new hotel. We have all that all going. And we know that's we've got the gold and mineral rights up there in the hills. But 150,000 people, by the UN's own admission, and billions of dollars missing. Just missing. No one knows where it is. And I haven't forgotten the big George Clooney benefit.
Clooney was there at
Clooney to the benefit, and Bon Jovi before. Everyone was, oh my gosh, so horrible. How quickly we forget. But our president will just play along.
Now at the 4-year anniversary of that tragic event that devastated such a large portion of not only Haiti, but also devastated the Haitian economy. The good news is that because of not just the mobilization of international support, which the U.S. helped to lead, but also because of strong leadership from the Haitian people themselves. And
you'll recall that there were riots, there was all this fake elections. The guy they wanted was the other musician. He got a big head, and they kicked him out and said, "Get the fuck out! You shouldn't be flying on the private jets, you moron." There was all the scandal. We remember this stuff. We track it. We're not falling for this, you liar.
President Martelli, we've begun to see progress.
The
economy is growing.
Oh.
Security is improving.
Security is improving, John. Economy is growing. How about the 150,000 people in the tents?
Infrastructure's getting rebuilt.
Oh, we're rebuilding the rubble.
Rubble's been removed.
I'm sorry, we're removing the rubble.
Health facilities are beginning to open up. Schools are.
Health facilities are. Does this? Is he? He must be high. How can you sit there and lie like this? And where's the media? Excuse me.
Starting to get back into place, and businesses are starting to return to Haiti. It's been a very slow and difficult process, and I think we are all recognizing that we have a lot more work to do. But my main message today to the President and to the people of Haiti is that the American people are committed to standing with you in this process. We want to make sure that all the children of Haiti can look forward to
pooping in your tent. The children of Haiti. This is
lives of opportunity.
Opportunity. Oh, I'm sorry. Making what? Baseballs?
And prosperity and security.
Security. Prosperity and security. This is the one that really makes me angry.
And I'm very encouraged by the fact that Haiti has now made progress on an election law that could ensure elections this year. And
yeah, we can bring the same shills in again.
Help to resolve some of the political roadblocks that have...
Political roadblocks. Oh, you mean the corruption and the ballot box stuffing and the lying and the cheating?
Stalled some progress in the country, and I appreciate the President's efforts on that front. I'm looking forward to hearing where we can help in other reforms that I know he cares about, such areas as human rights and prison reform.
Prison reform.
Dealing with...
prison reform.
It's laughable. It's just laughable.
Corruption. That are inhibitors to progress in any country, including ours. And
now he's just making it up.
We will continue to stand by Haitian democracy, Haitian leadership, and the Haitian people in
give them their money.
Slow and steady progress that needs to take place. So, Mr. President, welcome. We're very proud of our relationship with Haiti, and we look forward to deepening it.
Now, if you're this guy, what would you do if you just got this from the President of the United States, who clearly is all in on keeping you in there so that you can run drugs through the country and have cheap labor, what would you do?
I'd say, Mr. President, where's the billions of dollars collected by the Bush-Clinton Foundation, the billions of dollars collected by the marathon event that they had on all TV stations?
Around the globe.
That's what I'd ask.
Yeah.
Years to come.
No?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to first thank the people of the United States.
Oh, you're welcome. You're more than welcome.
You're welcome.
The government and you, Mr. President, for always standing by the Haitian people.
No, just standing by.
Wait for it.
I would also like to acknowledge the presence of the First Lady.
Oh, yes. Compliment the president's wife. That's what you got to do.
Michelle Obama in Haiti after the earthquake.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank her for her support also. Through this meeting, Mr. President, I hope we have a chance to discuss matters pertaining to security in Haiti, security in the region, our ability to fight together narco traffic.
Ah, there it is. To fight narco traffic. Uh-huh. Sure. Now you disgust me.
Yeah. I know it's a pet peeve of yours.
Yeah, but not enough to play the jingle. But yeah, it is a big pet peeve. Interesting train route being set up.
Oh, another one? A new one?
Yeah, this is a new one. So we have the Strait of Hormuz, which is very important. Of course, that's... does Iran control that? I think they do, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. And it's very important to be able to get primarily, of course, oil and freight through this channel. It's 21. If you should really pull up a map to see the Strait of Hormuz. Are you doing it?
Yeah, I'm going to do it right now.
In fact, I'll do it with you. It's kind of cool, this Strait of Hormuz. Let's see if we get... Here's a nice map. All right, here's the map. So we got the strait there. You got Iran on the right-hand side. And on the left-hand side, you got Oman. Now you need to zoom out a little.
Actually, the strait itself is really bordered on the north by Iran, and Oman is at the bottom. Well, you're looking at it at an angle.
Yeah, it depends on how your globe is turned.
Oh, yeah, if you're looking at it right, if I flip it over.
It does kind of depend on how you look at it. Okay.
You're right.
So what they're doing now, I just have to zoom out. For some reason, Google doesn't want to zoom out very well on me. What they're doing is instead of going through if you look on the left, Oman, instead of just going through the straits, they are building a $3 billion railroad through Oman.
Who's they?
Oman. On the left, Oman. The Oman National Railway Company are going to take over the straits business, and they're going to build this railway from south to north, right parallel to the strait, all the way up into the mountains to Muscat. And they plan to have this thing done in a year and a half. And this is all part of that GCC, that the Chiners are a part of, and the Russians want to be a part of. Everyone's building the big railways everywhere. So they're just trying to bypass all of these waterways.
So I'm looking at, let's say there's going to be a railway that runs from Oman through the UAE up through near Qatar, and then through Bahrain,
all the way up.
Kuwait,
and all the way up. Yep, all the way up. So instead of going through the strait and then going to any of those ports, there'll be, and this mountains here.
Where's it going to start? At Muscat?
I think so. Yeah, Muscat. Yeah. So you dock there, you pour all your stuff out, put it on the train, goes all the way through the mountains in the friendly territory. You see,
right through Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. So that's a $3 billion.
Well, that's because everyone's freaked out about the Strait of Hormuz being a choke point.
Of course. And along those lines, I learned that this was a pretty interesting delays to the Panama Canal, which we've been looking at. So we have the Chinese.
One of the few news outlets that looks at that.
Yeah. Why would anyone look at it? It's so boring. So the Chinese are building their own canal through Nicaragua. I'm not quite sure what the status is, but trust me, the Chinese know what they're doing. So the expansion of the Panama Canal is, I'll read you the headline here. Delays to the $5.25 billion expansion of the Panama Canal will extend a surge in rates for vessels hauling liquefied petroleum gas to Asia from the U.S. Aha! Now we kind of know why this is in play. It's going to cost us a lot more money to ship the same amount of liquefied gas that we want to ship if we don't have this canal expansion. As long as the Panama Canal remains unfit for taking VLGCs, the very large gas carriers, it's going to have a positive impact on the freight market. Assuming exports continue as normal, volumes will continue to be shipped. Rates for VLGCs will rise to $45,000 a day, up from $30,000. So this is big.
That's a lot. That's a big increase. These are 50%.
Exactly. These are big forces at play here.
Well, I mean, the Keystone Pipeline, of course, which is going to be part of this scheme, I believe.
Yeah.
Runs through the country, and it goes down to those refiners that are in the Gulf Coast, which it has to go to get out of there to China. They got to go through the Panama Canal.
Yep, got to.
Now, the West Coast refiners, not too many of them deal with this particular product.
Yeah, but Japan really needs our gas badly because they shut down all of the nuclear.
Huh. Yeah, so they're going to gouge us. That's interesting.
Yeah. Of course, this it's the banking dispute, so it's kind of hard to tell who exactly is behind the gouging.
Who and where's the money going?
It's hard to tell. But we got to be careful because, if they delay that long enough, the Chinese are going to go, hello, Nicaragua, and they're going to open that up.
Yeah, they're probably just because everything in China is best price. They will give us a better deal.
For sure. And
even if they're competing with us, they'll give us a better deal.
And I would be amiss if I did not mention that apparently the Federal Reserve has issued a warning for bank drills and system stress testing on the 15th and 16th of February.
Interesting.
Yeah. Of course, this is what we have a false flag warning for this type of activity. Always have to be looking out for something weird going down. This memo came out.
The next area within the 6-week cycle is actually March 15th. So we have to kind of note that. I don't think it'll much.
So this is the last thing that I really have that I wanted to share today. I'm pretty sure. Let me see. Where is it here? Oh yeah. I'm sure when it happened, when it first was reported, which was months ago, there was this attack on a Silicon Valley Northern California power station.
Oh, yeah. I keep forgetting to bring that up, too. What do you think of that? Well, let's explain what it is first.
Okay. So apparently 6 months ago, and it was caught on camera, some bad actors went in with, I think, automatic assault rifles, and they shot out 17 or 18 transformers at this one power station. Now, here's the weird thing. The reporting concludes that the shell casings had no fingerprints, that there were rock formations consistent with, a very well-organized operation. And there is some video. It's very tough to see what's really going on in the video, but they did succeed in effectively blowing up that power station, that substation, and of course power was diverted, and it all worked out. What's weird is that it's only coming out now, and it's only being really discussed now. Although we've seen this report for weeks, if not months, but certainly not 6 months. I don't think.
No. This is only within the last couple of weeks, actually.
So I got this report, an interview with a guy named Jenkins, who's from the Rand Corporation. And he was on Al Jazeera America. And he said a couple of things that were very interesting. I cut it down because it was a very long interview because Al Jazeera has no commercials. So they can just talk forever. I liked what he was saying, and Rand Corporation, these guys, you don't really often see Rand Corporation guys on news channels.
Very rarely.
So I figured that was interesting by itself.
There, of course, have been no arrests. We don't know what motive might have been behind this attack, but a former vice president of Pacific Gas and Electric said recently that this wasn't an incident where Billy Bob and Joe decided after a few brewskis to come in and shoot up a substation.
I'm very disappointed that that's not what was going on, because that's my idea of a Saturday night. Damn.
He said that this was a very well thought out attack and that they targeted specific components. What does that tell you?
Well, that suggests that they had either done their homework or potentially they had inside knowledge of how the system works. We look at these facilities. There's an array of transformers and power lines. To the ordinary outsider, it's mystifying. One wouldn't know which one to fire rounds at, which ones to go after. The fact that in this case it's reported that they were targeting specific components does suggest a degree of more sophisticated knowledge.
All right, and John Wellinghoff, the former chairman of the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, has said that he believes it was an act of domestic terrorism and that it was likely a dress rehearsal for a bigger terror plot that could take down the U.S. power grid and black out much of the country. Again, what...
This is now he's got my attention. I'm like, okay. And now the Rand guy comes out of the blue with something that I had completely forgotten. You may still remember.
What do you think?
I can't say that. I mean, we certainly have seen in our own history in the United States attacks by terrorists on the power grid. In fact, in years past, there were attacks on the same power grid that was attacked last April.
John, can you recall?
Last April?
No. He says in the past...
I don't know. No, I'm sure if I'm more reminded, I could.
So this is very interesting. What he's saying is on the exact same power grid, similar attacks, but many, many years ago.
1970s, a group calling itself the New World Liberation Front.
Do you remember the New World Liberation Front?
Vaguely.
They are the people that targeted Nancy Pelosi. The reason why she always said she had a gun.
Huh.
Interesting, huh?
Carried out a bombing campaign directed against the electrical power grid and caused some fairly serious blackouts in Sausalito and in San Jose. So it's certainly...
Were you there that time, or were you not in the Valley area in the 70s?
I should have been.
Not unprecedented. But to carry out a major attack that would bring down the system nationwide, that would require hitting a number of specific points simultaneously to preclude the possibility that the authorities could reroute power.
Well, I think he's setting us up there. That's how to do it.
Well, here's the way I'm looking at this. Is that, again, this would be ideal for the March 15th 6-week event. They bring this up now? Why?
Yeah, exactly. To get it,
you could have just let sleeping dogs lie. What's the point of now bringing it up unless it's a prelude to something that the government's doing?
Well, he has one more zinger in here in his last 30 seconds.
And U.S. officials warn about attacks on electric power facilities and on the grid. The first thing that most often comes to mind is somehow sophisticated computer hackers somehow getting malware and shutting us down. Is that, you think, the bigger threat?
Now listen to what he says.
I don't know that it's the bigger one. Certainly we've seen more activity in the cyber area as opposed to the area of physical sabotage. And that's simply because we are now so dependent on these information systems, because there are so many people with this technical know-how which has become increasingly available. And we also see a lot of activity because it's criminally driven. That is, there are commercial opportunities here.
Well, yes. He doesn't he just say it? It's like, oh, it's criminally driven by the computer industry, who are criminals and want business opportunities to sell governments a bunch of hooey.
Yeah, it was something we should get in on. Well, I'm thinking, for one thing, the question was weird. It was planted because if somebody's going out of their way to shoot up a place and then they're targeting certain components, it's got nothing to do with cyber.
No.
At all.
No.
There's no connection.
But he even said it. He said, well, I'm not so convinced. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And that would actually be really good because the defense contractors and, everyone's all in on cyber. Perfect to have an old school attack. So, people, we need more military crap there. We need,
we need guards,
personnel and tanks and.
Well, they're going to do something with these kids from Afghanistan when they bring them back. They can put them around these places.
Yeah, I'm not feeling too good.
I got a clip that'll make you roll your eyes.
All right, this has got to be the last one. I'm cutting you off.
This is just too funny. So this is.
Don't make it Thom Hartmann.
I'm going to make it Thom Hartmann. It's the Radcast. This, I'm going to set it up. This is what he's added this, not to his RT report, but to his regular daily radio show. He has added this ludicrous segment of his show. And just tell me what you think when you're done hearing it.
I'm Marlise Munoz. According to radcast.org, we're seeing the higher levels of radiation leaving the states for the most part. But we should be seeing the rise of fallout once again in a few more days. Lakewood, Colorado is reporting 66 counts per minute with spikes to 90, and Charleston, West Virginia is averaging 43 with highs of 65 counts per minute. Colorado Springs, Colorado is sitting at 65 counts per minute with spikes of 94, and Oxford, Michigan is hovering at 29 with highs of 71 counts per minute. Frederick, Wisconsin is reporting 46 counts per minute with spikes to 80, and Spearfish, South Dakota is sitting at 50 with highs of 83 counts per minute. Salisbury, Massachusetts is hovering at 81 counts per minute with spikes all the way up to 122, and Ithaca, New York is averaging 41 with highs of 65 counts per minute. Radcast.org's alert level is 100 counts per minute. However, they remind us that there is no such thing as a safe level of radiation.
Okay, I got it. Very smart of you, and I caught it. First of all, Radcast. So these are the radiation levels of Fukushima, I'm sure. We're all dying from Fukushima. And he brings out Spearfish.
Yeah.
Which is landlocked. Thank you. I was listening.
One of our donors is from Spearfish.
He must be dying from the rad count.
Now, the funny thing is when they hit Massachusetts, they had the numbers all go up, which makes no sense because the distance from one place to another.
Hold on 1 second. Stop. Just stop. This was so ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I agree.
That I'm going to give this to you.
Clip of the day.
I'm giving it to you.
Late but not forgotten, or whatever.
That is so ridiculous. He is reading like it's
the weather.
Like the fishery report.
Yeah. Or the sunset sunrise numbers.
Jeez, what a dick.
He's an idiot. Now, but the thing I want to point out is that even with this bull crap, which can't last.
No.
It would seem logical that if there's radiation coming from Fukushima, which there's not, it would be higher on the West Coast than the East Coast, but all the East Coast numbers are really high. Never explained, of course, that especially Massachusetts is just laden with radioactive radon.
Radon, yeah.
If you live in Massachusetts, you usually get a radon detector.
We had it in Jersey. We had it in New Jersey. We had to have a radon detector.
Yeah, because the Earth and the East Coast ground is oozing radon.
Yeah, you cannot buy a house without a radon survey.
Right, and many times you have to put like this, like either covering. You got to do different things to keep because the radon is a gas and it comes into the house and everyone's breathing it.
Yeah,
yeah, no, it's horrible. But
and you grow an extra eye. It's really crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, I just thought that was the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Was that it? Oh, okay.
Replace it seriously.
Yeah, no, that's good. Thank you very much. That was very depressing. Oh, boy. Okay. Yeah, we didn't get to any Turkey stuff or Central African Republic. We're bad.
Yeah, well, I'm going to talk a little bit about them in the newsletter, and because my thinking now is the poppies are going to be moved there.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, they got to, because we're leaving Afghanistan. We got to put the poppy someplace else.
Well, for sure, and I have a report for Thursday. For sure, we are ramping up big time, and Djibouti, of course, is the main base. It's at Djibouti. I saw a video of Djibouti. They got Subway, they got Burger King. It's just like Basra. It's unbelievable. The Djibouti base is, whew. So we're launching everything from Djibouti. And
makes sense.
Yeah, and so it makes sense. We need to start. We should check out the Earth, the climate, the poppy growing climate there.
I did. I've got all the maps.
Oh, good. Okay, fantastic. That will be coming your way Thursday. Remember to support us, Dvorak.org/NA, here in FEMA Region 6 in Austin, Texas. In the morning, everybody, my name's Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where it's raining, I'm John C. Dvorak.
And we'll be back on Thursday right here on your No Agenda.
And you can always follow me on Twitter.
The best podcast in the universe. Dvorak.org/NA